welcome in, race fans, to iRacing Live on VirtualRacing.Network. It's Tuesday night here on Virtual Racing. You know what that means. It's time for the NORA Cup Series 2023, race 17 of 36. Of course, presented as always by Abby's Sweet Treats Home Bakery. Tonight, the Cup Series heads to Charlotte. Just like the real life series, it'll be a very, very interesting and lengthy race for these drivers, the equivalent of the Coke 600 at this mile-and-a-half D-shaped oval. 60 laps in the first stage, 120 in the second stage, 180 the third stage, and finally 240 overall. I hope you're comfy and cozy on that couch or wherever you're sitting, and you've got your favorite beverages lined up, because tonight we're gonna have some fun here in Charlotte. Hello again, everybody. I'm Trevor Greenfield, and welcome to another fun evening of NASCAR Next Gen exciting racing. We get set to see what happens in the rest of the regular season for the NORA Cup Series. It's been an exciting season thus far. We just finished the All-Star event at North Wilkesboro. Fantastic race there. It's been a couple of amazing races in a row. Of course, we're just also at Darlington for some fantastic racing, and of course you can catch that, all of that, right here in our archives on VirtualRacing.Network. I'm Trevor Greenfield, and you're watching live. I appreciate you joining in here. Make sure if you're over in our YouTube channel, you smash that subscribe button and the like button, and let us know where you're watching from out there. Love to know where everybody is rooting on from, and who you're rooting on. Is it a team? Is it a driver? Always good to know. Love to chat with the fans out there of the NORA Cup Series. I'll be flying solo pretty much tonight, but we'll have all kinds of special guests. Got all kinds of cool stuff lined up, including some in-race interviews with these drivers. It should be an absolute blast. Unfortunately, Christian Snyder not able to make it tonight, kind of under the weather after this Memorial Day weekend. Perhaps the Coke 600 really got to him, but either way, we wish him the best, and we hope for a speedy recovery from that. So, as you can see there on your screen, the stats for tonight: it's 81% humidity, 66 degrees in the air, just a slight breeze, 3 miles per hour, and 69 degrees on the track. So nice and cool for these drivers here in Concord, North Carolina. Kind of sticking around North Carolina. Now, this is 2 weeks in a row, so as these drivers head on out there to get qualified for tonight and get into playoff mode, really. I mean, this is high time to start thinking about the end of this season. And do you want to be in those playoffs? Well, you better be ready to get it done here in qualifying and get out there and get to the front of the field and never look back. So let's check in here. Here's John Cottle just heading out there to get his very first lap in. And of course, we'll be getting to the points here in just a moment, but that will be so crucial as we get rolling here in the end of this regular season, that you get as many points as you can. Now, of course, there is a bonus point here in store for anybody who qualifies on pole position, anyone who leads a lap and leads the most laps. So all of those ways to get some bonus points, but certainly if you can qualify on the pole at a D-shaped oval like this, a lot less fighting that you'll have to do heading through this race. So as we can watch here, Cottle putting down that first lap. So far, fastest in that second sector, and puts up the first time thus far. Here's a look over at Nightmare Motorsports' Nick Geilis, who has struggles with his laps, not able to get in a top time. Vincent Arthur putting in 2 purple laps for himself, going to the top of the charts. No surprise to see Vincent there. Looking over at Matthew Hibbs now for Nightmare Motorsports, and he's just kind of cruising here on his second lap, so I don't think he's going to get one in. Cameron Thompson doing the same. We'll check in over here with Ronnie Norman. Of course, it may look like these drivers out there on track together, but sort of a illusion. They're actually not out there together. They're individually qualifying, but Ronnie just getting up to speed here with his first lap, and the result being able to take victory at Darlington after both of the top finishers, first and second place, disqualified essentially, and that has allowed Ronnie Norman to take victory there at a track that he didn't really know that he was even going to be close to the top. So John Caudle, as you can see there, ended up slotting into second place. Cody Reeder in third place. Todd Slauson now slotting into fourth. Brandon Dunford in fifth. Jake Christenberry in sixth. Kulikowski now into seventh. Gladelich in eighth. And, of course, Ronnie Norman that's on our screen. I don't see him getting up onto the board, so perhaps not getting in a good lap after all. Here's Anthony Mackie just coming to the end of his first lap here. We'll watch to see where his time will slot in. And continue to watch along here as we'll see whether Mackie able to get up there onto the board. Not seeing it so far. Here's Josh Conover as he has just completed his lap. So good enough for 14th fastest. And I believe we have KPR Motorsports' Dustin Kleba, who has been an absolute phenom here, taking race wins, and now sets his sights on Charlotte here. So what will Dustin Kleba be able to do? Will he be able to take that pole position away from Vincent Arthur? And he does, in fact, do that. Does it by a sizable margin as well. Well over a tenth faster than Vincent Arthur. And it's again, to me personally, after watching how many races Arthur was sitting atop these charts, to see Kleba come in and be able to do what he's been able to do here in the NORA Cup Series. It's been some pretty awesome stuff. Kleba, one of the rising stars in the NORA Series. So we look on to see if anybody else will get in a time. And in the meantime, it's a good time to go ahead and bring up our qualifying. Actually, we'll go ahead and head over to our point system. And we'll be able to get to the final results for qualifying here in just a moment. So as you can see on your screen, there is the points after 16 races as they stand. Still Arthur atop those points. You can see why. Out of 14 starts, 9 top 5s, 5 wins, 4 pole positions. But it's been a bit of a dry spell here for pole positions for Vincent Arthur. Kleba coming in and stealing pole position here. And then you can also see Ronnie Norman now in that second spot. Brady Motes in third. Brady actually having to sit tonight out as a result of caused cautions. So that's going to really affect his points. But of course, everybody above that 16th position in the points just trying to make it into the playoffs. So we continue to keep an eye on that and the movement. Here is the owner points after 16 races. Still flatline 1-2, and Brian Powell there sitting in the third spot for the number 15 machine. But you see some more movement a little bit further back. And a lot of these points battles very tight here in this Owners Championship. So still a lot of jockeying yet to come. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the starting order for tonight's NORA Cup Series race round number 17 at Charlotte, presented by Abby's Sweet Treats. On pole position will be Dustin Kleba for KPR Motorsports. Congratulations to him. Another stellar run for Kleba. In second place will be Vincent Arthur for Flatline Motorsports. In third will be John Caudle for Harper Motorsports. And in fourth, it'll be Cody Reeder for KPR Motorsports. Interestingly, Cody Reeder seemed to wonder whether he would even be competitive here tonight. I think he was saying that a little tongue-in-cheek, but either way, he's managed to qualify right up there in the second row. On the third row will be Todd Slauson for Full Send Motorsports, one of the best starts for Slauson this season. Brandon Dunford for Nightmare Motorsports will be starting in sixth. On that fourth row, Jake Christenberry and Adam Kulikowski. Jacob Gladelich will be starting next to Cameron Thompson in 10th place. In 11th will be Chad Ingalls starting next to Matthew Hibbs. In 13th will be Christopher Thomas starting next to Cody Height. Then we've got Josh Conover and Ronnie Norman, followed by Matt Tucker and Matthew George. Nick Geilis and Anthony Mackey. Josh Curry will be starting alongside Zach Hollinger if he makes it out there on the track. And Hollinger right now sitting in the pits, so not sure if that's going to take place. But either way, we're excited. We're ready for an awesome evening of action. As I mentioned, I hope you are too. This is Charlotte Motor Speedway, of course. Real Life Series, as I mentioned, was out there doing what they do best and putting on a great show. We hope to see the same thing here tonight. Once again, see a lot of you over in our YouTube chat room. Feel free to check in with us and let us know where you're watching from and whether or not you've managed to score some of those Abby Sweet Treats. Of course, we'll be talking much more about Abby Sweet Treats here coming up very soon, but we're expecting 240 sweet laps here for the NORA Cup Series, and we are underway here at Charlotte. Kleba and Arthur already battling for that top spot. They dive into turn one, and it's Kleba who stays in the lead. Arthur on the high side. Just behind, it's Cottle and Cody Reeder who managed to slot in nose to tail, but it looks like Slauson now losing a position and diving back. That's Dunford. Now they go three wide here on the front stretch, and we see one car into another. I believe it's Gladelich who may have touched others, and we've got a number of cars around and damaged in this one. A big incident already here in the early stages. Dustin Kleba able to get it going here, but unfortunately behind him we had all kinds of carnage. Let's go ahead and take a look back here, as we did have Brandon Dunford caught up in this one, and certainly does look like he gets run into there, sending several drivers around, 4 or 5 drivers out through that infield section. Take a look here what it looked like from Cameron Thompson's point of view. This was what Cameron Thompson saw just a moment ago as they wrecked directly in front. That number 20 machine ending up in there as well. That's the Brandon Dunford machine, unfortunately for him. Take a look at what happened from Jacob Gladelich's point of view. So he just manages to skip around this one. So I'm thinking that was possibly Jake Christenberry, and in fact it does appear to be so. So let's see if we can tell exactly what took place. Just gets that run, and really nowhere for him to go, being on the bottom side there. Unfortunately, we look back and we can see the smoke. But several drivers getting caught up in that, and I believe Chad Ingle now taking advantage of coming into the pits here early on. So what did you think of that out there? Who was at fault in that one? Let us know in the YouTube chat room. I see Harper, that's Tim Harper there in YouTube chat saying, "Go Harper Motorsports." Sad I can't be here tonight. That's a shame, Tim. Well, certainly if you want to join us over here in the booth, in the booth, you're more than welcome to if you get a chance. I know we have several drivers and some other cool stuff here planned for tonight as well, so we'll look forward to getting to that here momentarily and being able to welcome in some special guests. But here's the most special guest of all. It's Abby's Sweet Treats Home Bakery, the proud presenting sponsor of the NORA Truck and Cup Series. There you see it on the screen. So many of the awesome things that Abby's cooking up. You got all of these awesome looking decorated cookies, artistically designed cookies. Make you feel so good on the inside and they look so great on the outside. It's not just cookies, though she does a great job with all of these different decorated cookies. You got the Oreo pies, you got the cake pops, you got brownies. Hey, if you can dream it up, chances are Abby can do it. Send her a note over there. She's on Facebook. She's on Instagram, on Pinterest, and Twitter. abcobb@gmail.com, 812-264-1624. That's Abby Dreyer over there in Plymouth, Minnesota. She'll ship them right on out to you. She's got a whole invoicing system thingy set up so you can get your stuff shipped right to your front door and get your cookies, get your cake pops, get all that stuff lined up. So that was unfortunate, as Dunford, Christopher Thomas, it looks like Adam Kulikowski caught up in that one as well. Ronnie Norman went through the dirt, and I haven't seen Stephen Dombrowski in the YouTube chat yet. Probably be getting in soon, but I know that the Ronnie Norman fan club is alive and well here on VirtualRacing.Network. And we check in now with where Ronnie Norman ended up. Here he is in 12th place, so not too much damage for him. Still going strong. Here's another driver you may recognize. That's Cody Height on YouTube, as he's known. Streamer, doing a lot of great content. Certainly somebody worth a subscribe if you're into that sort of thing. Check him out in your time, in your spare time. And if you want to watch him on your phone, you can watch from on board his perspective. But so far, it's been the Dustin Kleba show already, as we've seen him already challenged by Vincent Arthur, but hold strong. We'll see whether or not Kleba can continue to do that all night long. He has been a force to be reckoned with here in the NORA Cup Series. Looks like also Nick Geilis, Matt George, Anthony Mackie, a lot of these drivers caught up in this incident, so quite a lot of drivers. And then not sure if Slauson crashed. Not 100% sure on that one. I'm getting a notification that he might have slowed down on the backstretch. But either way, looks like everyone else has made it out there. The only drivers caught a lap down, Zach Hollinger, and then it looks like Dunford is going to be sitting there in the pits. We're about to get underway once again here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Fans rising up to their seats, from their seats and standing in the aisles. We're green here at Charlotte. And you can see already Cottle having an issue there on the backstretch. He tried to dive underneath and stay in that third position, but Cody Reeder has jumped him, now getting up into that third spot. So move Cody up. Already seeing some movement here in the field, but he gets challenged again. This is Cottle trying to come back on him, and he does. He tries to take that position on the outside and move Cottle back into that third spot. We've got a driver up high, though, a little bit further back. I believe it's Cameron Thompson.
Yellow.
And we've already got another yellow flag. And I'm not exactly sure who that one is for. I think it's for Christopher Thomas. So let's jump back and check this one out. Not seeing exactly what took place for Thomas. I'm not sure if he had a disconnection or exactly what the case was for the Full Send Motorsports driver. But let's take a look at this. Let's see if we can come in kind of the side door here and see if we can tell what happened. Here's Thomas on the track. And that number 90, and there he is. He's just kind of disconnecting. So, and I believe what happens is he pops up. He'll pop up here in just a minute somewhere on the track. As we wait for that to happen, I'm not sure exactly when it does happen, but this was when our software says it happened. But either way, he's now popped into the pits, and he's since left pit lane. So some disconnection issues happening there for Thomas. And now he does actually, I take it back, he left the pits, and now he's entered the pits again. So always difficult when you get these technical issues affecting some of these racers, and unfortunately, I believe that also being our cause of caution. Here's Todd Slauson, overshooting his pit box just a little bit. Going to take on some service here for the Full Send Motorsports team. Also seeing Nick Geilis stopping in with his patriotic paint scheme there for Nightmare Motorsports. And back at the front, it's been no change from where they qualified. It's still Kleba, Arthur, Cottle, Reeder. But you've got Jake Christenberry jumping up 2 spots there for Prestige TRD. Just behind that, you've got Jacob Gladelich now up 3 spots. Matthew Hibbs with a fantastic run so far, just in the early stages. Not even fully 10 laps done with this one yet. But he's already gained 5 positions. Ronnie Norman just behind Cameron Thompson here. Thompson up 2 spots. And there's Ronnie Norman, 7 spots gained so far. So Norman able to make some things happen here in the early goings here at Charlotte. Cody Height sitting there in 10th place, excuse me, up 4 spots. Kulikowski, he's had 3 spots that he has lost so far. So we'll keep an eye on that, but one of our independents in the field, Matthew George for Flatline Motorsports, in that 12th position in that number 8 car. That's usually where he likes to run these races, if I'm being completely honest. Loves to run in that mid-pack. Sometimes we see him creep up there towards that top 5, but usually reserves that pretty much for the very end of the race. Chad Engel for Brian Powell Motorsports. He's dropped a couple of spots so far since this start. But another mover shaker back here past Matt Tucker for the JRC race team in 15th spot. That's Josh Curry. Remember, he started, I believe, on the last row, and he's already up there into that 15th spot. So keep an eye on some of these drivers. Slauson dropping 14 positions and taking on service already on pit road. Difficult going so far for the Full Send Motorsports driver. So we're just about to come back here to the green flag. Once again, so great to have you with us here on VirtualRacing.Network. Feel free to check in with us, and would love to know where you're watching from and what you're up to out there. Typical night. Did you enjoy the Coke 600? What'd you think of that controversial finish? I heard that Chase Elliott has received, I believe, a 1-race suspension. So hopefully we don't see any sort of carnage like that here tonight, but already it's been an incident-filled race. Either way, would love a chance to chat with some of you out there in YouTube land, and as always, we do appreciate you checking in with us. Megan Beadle saying, let's go Christenberry. We love you, of course. Beadle and family rooting on their guy, Jake Christenberry. Maybe this is the night for Jake to get up there in the win column. Thought it was Thought it could have been his night last week. It was pretty interesting. He was up there leading at North Wilkesboro. But unfortunately, some trouble came to him. So we'll see whether tonight he can keep that prestige TRD Toyota out of trouble and be there at the end. It's a very long race, 240 laps, so still just only 5% of the way done here tonight. And of course, stage victory is worth something. So you want to make sure that you're in as many of those points winning columns as possible. As we get set to bring it back to racing here at Charlotte, it's going to be Dustin Kleba and Vincent Arthur who lead us back to the green flag. There goes Kleba flying down the inside. And you can see just behind, that's Caudle, who's now taking a look. Excuse me, Caudle on the outside. As they now head onto the backstretch, it looks like Cody Reeder got trapped on that outside spot, but it was Caudle on the inside. Now a little bit further back, there's Christenberry. Now making his move, coming forward. So Christenberry on the outside looking to come forward, but we've got a new leader. It's Vincent Arthur that time at the line. The number 24 for Flatline Motorsports looking strong here tonight, challenging Kleba, and Kleba getting a little loose coming off the corner. Still side by side as it's now Caudle and Arthur. And here comes Jake Christenberry looking for more. Just behind, you've got Cameron Thompson poking his nose into this picture. John Caudle has been strong here tonight for Harper Motorsports. We've got Tim Harper out here checking in and looking on. Rooting on his Harper Motorsports driver. Could be anyone's night here. I think the key is to stay out of any of these potential incidents. Here comes Christenberry to the inside of Caudle. That's for third spot. Go on board with Jake Christenberry here. Jake Christenberry managing to get up into that fourth spot, up 3 spots from where he started here tonight. And he is definitely on the hunt for more in that 23 machine. We look back, it's Ronnie Norman who's up 8 positions. He's also trying to do a little bit more here. And just in front of him, it's Cody Reeder. But side by side, they race out of the corner. Now Christenberry falls back. Cameron Thompson all over the rear of Christenberry. Thompson in that number 2 for Harper Motorsports. Trying to be the second driver here. Is the second driver in the top 5 for Harper. But we've got a side-by-side battle for the lead between 2 of the best drivers on iRacing. It's Vincent Arthur and Dustin Kleba side-by-side right now for the lead of round number 17 here at Charlotte. Yielding absolutely nothing, but Kleba starting to fall back. He's now fallen back into third, and that's moved Caudle up into the second position. He's liking to run this high side. We now jump on board as he almost gets into Arthur. Arthur almost drifts up the track into him. They race side by side off the corner. It's Caudle on the high side, Vincent Arthur on the low side. And at the line this time, it's going to be Caudle. Here comes Dustin Kleba back on that low line. He's liked that low line so far tonight. He's going to try to hold it. There he is in that third spot, the black and white KPR Motorsports number 16 machine. And Vincent Arthur will charge back to the front, or will he? Caudle stays tough and sticks it out on that high side. Side by side they run, first and second row. Cottle and Arthur, and Christenberry now up into that third spot alongside Dustin Kleba. Challenging from behind, here comes Cameron Thompson into the picture in his number 2. It's been an awesome race so far. We've seen a lot of challenges for side-by-side positions as these drivers continue to make their way through the field. From the back, you've got Jake Christenberry up 4 spots. Cottle has gained 2 spots from where he started. Got Cameron Thompson up a couple of spots. Matthew Hibbs now up into that 6th position, gaining 6 spots so far. And you look back into 8th position, it's Cody Height on YouTube. Up into that 8th spot, as I mentioned, 6 positions gained. Ronnie Norman in 9th, and now another challenge for the lead. It's Vincent Arthur and John Cottle battling it out. Here's Christenberry just behind to try to make his bid. There's Christenberry side by side with Arthur diving into turn 3. They race side by side off the corner, barely an inch between them. Arthur decides discretion's the better part of valor. He'll back out of this battle. And now they start to get a little stacked up behind Arthur. There's Cameron Thompson backing out a little bit more. This driver's doing the sensible thing, realizing there's still a very long race to go. Just 10% of the way through this one here tonight. They race off of turn 4. It's John Cottle. He's looked super strong here tonight. This might be John Cottle's night, and Harper Motorsports would love it. In the absence of Tim Harper being able to battle out there for position. Of course, Harper has also been very strong as of late. Shame not to be able to see him in the field here tonight. But a couple of drivers representing the team well, and Cameron Thompson and John Cottle. And also Christenberry bringing that Toyota up to the front. We haven't seen Christenberry quite this strong as he has been the last couple of races. Christenberry now about to challenge Cottle for that top spot, now hanging on in that 2nd spot. We take a look at that number 23 as they march through turn number 4. Vincent Arthur now taking a look underneath Christenberry as well. It's going to get the notification that the spotter says there's somebody there. And now Cameron Thompson looking on the outside as Christenberry makes his move to the inside of Cottle here. And they get together, but they manage to save it. Christenberry saves the car. Almost an incident. Cottle had to be sweating bullets on that one as they both made a correction and able to keep it together. Vincent Arthur holding on now in 2nd place. Cameron Thompson in 3rd. Dustin Kleba in 4th. And Jake Christenberry, your top 5. Hibbs in 6th. Reeder in 7th. Ronnie Norman in 8th. And Cody Height, that's your 9th place driver. And Matt Tucker, your 10th place driver. Still anyone's race, as all the way back to 7th place is within 1 second. Cameron Thompson and Dustin Kleba racing it out strong for that 3rd spot. On that high side, John Cottle has been able to get it done so far all night long. Vincent Arthur not quite able to get up there and challenge for that position. Perhaps Arthur just trying to protect that 2nd spot. Megan Beadle loving this over in the YouTube chat. Sure hope to get a W tonight. Let's go, Jake. I hear you, Megan. He's been looking strong, but right now we look back. He's racing it out for 6th position as Christenberry almost had that coming together with John Cottle. You can see just behind also Hibbs now racing side by side with Ronnie Norman for position. Ronnie Norman now up into that 7th spot. As they race to the line, challenge into turn number 1. It's Ronnie Norman who's claimed 10 positions, passing Jake Christenberry there into turn number 1. Go on board with Ronnie Norman, the 27-year-old out of Clinton, Indiana. Racing for Flatline Motorsports. He sits second in the points. Certainly pays to have your teammate be at the top of the points. But I think Ronnie Norman is starting to feel this championship maybe perhaps coming to him, as I believe we now have a challenge for the lead. There's Vincent Arthur has now managed to take over that position as Cottle has moved back into third. Kleba able to join him there in second place. You watch right now as Arthur holding a narrow gap over Kleba as they get onto the backstretch. Here's Cameron Thompson and John Cottle. Cottle continues to run the high line here around Charlotte. It's working well for him. Why fix it? You know, why change anything if you got the type of balance that you want on board? Why make any changes? As we look back here, it's Christenberry and Josh Conover now up into this top 10. I was wondering when we might see Josh. Now he's going to give a solid challenge to Cody Height. Height in that 8th spot on the outside there. Conover looking strong, moves into the 7th position. Cody Height and Matthew Hibbs now racing side by side, and Height has some contact with the number 9 of Matthew Hibbs. And it looks like, did Guylis have to come into pit road? Yes, he did. I'm not sure if that was intentional. I don't think it was. Let's see if we can figure out what happened here. This was just a moment ago. There was that contact up in front. Guylis does actually decide to pull it off. And he does just barely get it slowed down, so kind of surprising to see Guylis peel off that early, but here he is racing on the apron, so I think that was perhaps not totally intentional. The Lake City, Florida driver continue around here and rejoin the field. Vincent Arthur, your leader, with Dustin Kleba now side by side. It's how they started, and Kleba's back into the lead. There you see Guylis once again going to try it again onto pit road. As we watch on here between Kleba and Arthur, third into this group. He's come back into the top group. It's Cody Reeder who's back into third, and he now watches on in front as this side-by-side battle continues to rage between Arthur and Kleba. A lot of correction from Reeder as he exits turn 4. Of course, these next-gen vehicles just so difficult to quite keep it under control, as we just had a problem, I believe, with Vincent Arthur, or perhaps Arthur choosing to come in at that moment. So this was just a moment ago, as I believe he pulled it down onto pit lane. An early entry to the pits for Arthur and narrowly missed by Cody Reeder, and Reeder manages to get by him successfully. So now we're seeing some more green flag stops. This is John Cottle leading them down onto pit road. Here's Cameron Thompson, Matthew Hibbs, and now we have a yellow. I believe it is Vincent Arthur who's had a problem. Unfortunately, that pace truck is not able to hit these vehicles, but he has just had a problem. Let's see if we can figure out what happened here with Vincent Arthur as he left the pits. Was this just a simple case of cold tires for Arthur? And it is, in fact, he loops it around. A very uncharacteristic mistake from Vincent Arthur exiting the pits. We go to watch on board here with Arthur. This is as he exited his pits. You can just see that car get right away from him. Unfortunately, he makes no contact with the rest of these drivers. Now, he will receive a penalty for improperly exiting the pits. So we'll see how that affects him. But he should... Will he stay on the lead lap? Is he on the lead lap? I don't believe so. In fact, you've got Gladelich, Caudle, Arthur, Hollinger, Geilis, and Thomas all a lap down at the moment. But we'll see how this all corrects out as the rest of these drivers now come down into the pits. Dustin Kleba leading everybody here into pit lane. Cody Reeder just behind as well. Cody Height, Chad Engel, Adam Kulikowski. All these drivers here now receiving their very first service on the night. We watch as they run off pit road. It's Kleba who will be the first one off. Cody Reeder second. Ronnie Norman third. Josh Conover fourth. Matt Tucker fifth. Coming off of pit road. And with Cameron Thompson and Matthew Hibbs yet to pit, Thompson will take a bonus point here for leading a lap. And with that, we're going to take a momentary break here on VirtualRacing.Network. We'll come right back with lots more green flag racing. You don't want to go anywhere. It's the NORA Cup Series here on VirtualRacing.Network. Be right back. Welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. It's been an interesting race so far for round number 17 of the NORA Cup Series 2023. Cody Reeder, your current leader, with Dustin Kleba in second, Josh Conover in third, and Ronnie Norman up to fourth. You just saw Vincent Arthur and John Cottle were a lap down, getting that wave around, so they'll rejoin at the back of this field, have a chance at it again. Both of those drivers having an issue. Votter Racing subscribing to us over here on YouTube. We appreciate that, Votter. Welcome aboard the VirtualRacing.com family. And looking forward to bringing you lots more great racing here. For anybody who's not a subscriber, smash that subscribe button, and you'll get to see lots more NORA Cup and truck racing and much more to come. We're back under green here as Dustin Kleba takes the lead. Cody Reeder in second. Ronnie Norman slotting into third, and they're side by side just behind. Conover, Tucker now 3 wide on the backstretch. Conover marches ahead. Cody Height to the low side on Matt Tucker there in the 43. So Cody Height on YouTube in that 5th spot. And now we also see Adam Kulikowski joining this battle up here in the top 10. Welcome to the battle, Adam Kulikowski. Hope you are prepared and you got those belts pulled down tight. This has been one heck of a ride up at the front. Side by side, just in front, Matthew George now on the outside of Kulikowski. Early appearance up here towards the top 5 for George. Matt Tucker for that JRC race team also. JRC sim team, excuse me. Doing a fantastic job. Dustin Kleba in the front though. Continuing to lead. Cody Reeder in second and Ronnie Norman in third place. Here comes Cody Reeder, and Ronnie Norman perhaps going to take a look here. Coming into turn 3. Here comes Ronnie Norman. Norman to the low side. He'll pull that victory off, that victorious pass off, no problem. Reeder wants to challenge again on that high side. Is he going to do so? No, he's going to think better of it and pull out of that draft just a little bit, settle into third, and perhaps try to give it another go. We look just behind. There's a lot of cars side by side just behind. We've got Matthew George. Here comes Josh Conover on the inside of Adam Kulikowski. And there you can see the 23 of Kristen Berry coming back through the field once again. Kristen Berry now to the high side of Kulikowski, not able to get the pass done. Conover just behind. Up in front of them, Thompson and George racing side by side for that 6th position. Thompson edging him ahead. However, perhaps making slight contact there with the number 8 of Matthew George. Here comes Kulikowski taking another look. Not able to get it done, and on that high side, there you can see Kristen Berry. He'll take that position. So move Kristen Berry back up into the 8th spot. Now you've got Cody Height just up in front with Cameron Thompson on the low side. Cody Height into that 5th spot. Welcome to the top 5, Cody Height. Here comes Matthew George looking to move up in towards that top 5. It's going to be possibly taking a look at that 6th position from Cameron Thompson as well. So a lot of action here in the midfield. Scratching for positions. Here's Dustin Kleba, though, in his KPR Motorsports Ford out of Iowa City, Iowa, and he's been looking strong all night long. Took the pole position, and here he is leading this race once again. But he looks just behind in that enormous rear view mirror, and he's got a big window filled with Ronnie Norman's Flatline Motorsports Chevy. Ronnie up 14 positions already. Your hard charger thus far. Cody Reeder already a ways back from this battle, now 1.54 seconds away, and it continues to grow now over 1.6 seconds, so starting to fall back from this lead group. I don't know if that's just conservation of the tires or perhaps there was a slight issue that kind of backed him off of that lead battle, but he and Matt Tucker here. Matt taking a look down to that low line, on board with Tucker, really holding that apex line very strong. Blue and white line separating these cars from being able to make it through that bank corner. And let me tell you, if you catch too much of that line or you get down below it, you are going to be going right around in one of these machines. So as Tucker manages to get Reeder going to fight back here. This is for third position on your track right now. Side by side they go, racing onto the front stretch. And it's Tucker this time across the line for third. Cody Reeder for KPR Motorsports qualified in fourth, trying to get into third, but Matt Tucker qualified 17th, and here he is running in third place. Fantastic run from Matt Tucker for that JRC Sim team.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
And we have a yellow flag out. Trying to see exactly who it might be. I believe it's not Christopher Thomas, Zach Hollinger. No, I think it's Matthew Hibbs having a problem. There's Hibbs, the number 9 car. And you can see that car now wiggling to get down the straightaway. I'm not sure if the steering is bent. We look on board. Looks pretty straight. He'll get that thing back up to speed. So let's see if we can figure out exactly what took place here just a moment ago. And that just a little bit after the 21 machine makes contact. So see if we can get back just a moment earlier here. This was just a moment earlier with the 21 on the inside of the 9. And the 3 making contact there, the 2 making contact with that 15 as well. So unfortunate stuff here as Hibbs ends up in the wall. You see Hibbs now making it onto pit road. So many drivers making it into pit road here. Cameron Thompson, the first one off of pit road. Dustin Kleba in second. Cody Reeder in third. And that's actually quite a brilliant move, because if we get going again, I'm not sure if we will get going again before the caution is over, but that would give the stage victory to Cameron Thompson, as we will have the first stage over on lap number 60, but I don't think we're going to get going again, so that will give Dustin Kleba the stage victory, and Ronnie Norman second, Cody Reeder in third, and I believe Matt Tucker will take fourth place for that first stage. So a lot of fun in the early going. We are under our fourth caution here, as that was quite an incident, unfortunately, for Matthew Hibbs. He's just now rolling off of pit road. We'll see if we can get one more look at that. As they were rolling down backstretch there. This is on board with Hibbs on the outside. Ends up going all the way down to the inside, and then you can see a couple of other drivers getting into it. There's Josh Conover just rolling by there, and backwards he rolled Matthew Hibbs. So Hibbs now making his way live here on VirtualRacing.Network back into the pits once again. And also, I believe Nick Geilis, one of those who got caught up. I take it back. It was Nick Geilis who was that driver who flashed by there. It was not Josh Conover. But we are under our fourth caution, and in fact, we will come back to the green flag before the end of the first stage. So there will be a race to the line to see who will take this first stage. I'm pretty sure. Usually Christian is here to keep me straight on some of these rules. He knows a little bit more about how admin runs these stages than I do. But either way, hope you're doing okay out there, Christian, if you're watching on. And hope you're recovering well, buddy. Drinking lots of water, staying hydrated. We've got Emily Christenberry checking in. Christenberry making moves. Let's go. Well, we've got the Christenberry fan club. I mean, technically outnumbering the Ronnie Norman fan club, who is also MIA tonight. So, Steven Dombrowski, we're looking forward to seeing you back here. So, that's the stage finish. Says it's Otis, which is Brady Motes, I believe. And so that will be how they'll just decide that that's the stage finish for the first stage. And he does say he can come in. So with that, we're going to get a chance to bring in Brady Motes here and join us. And we'll get a chance to listen in as... Give me a second here. It's a little tricky to do. Easier said than done here to do this stuff live, but we're going to get a chance to listen in as this restart happens here. This is live. You'll hear Brady Motes spotting for Josh Kahn over here as we come back to the green flag. So we'll listen in live as you get to hear something that really only the drivers ever get to hear, and that's Motes guiding Josh Conover back to the green flag.
All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, green.
Green flag.
Go ahead, all rolling, rolling good. Tight on 54, still there. 7 inside now. Still there, 7 inside. At your door. At your door, still there. Still there, quarter clear, clear. 88 coming the run outside, outside 88, outside, still there. Quarter clear. Clear, look at 3 in front of you. Watch the 24, got big momentum behind you as well. 88 in the wall in front. On the line right here, 88 outside, quarter. Still there, door. Even, still there, 88. Still there. Watch Benson with the run, look at 3, middle 3. Inside 24. Quarter. Clear down. On the line. 9 car looking outside. Outside quarter barely, 9 clear now. Watch this 88 stalling here. Stalling outside quarter. Door, even with him now. Outside 45 as well. 45 clear, 88 still there. 88 door. 88 tight door. Clear 88. 45 outside, still there. Door, quarter, clear. All right, set sail, let's go get him.
And some super exciting stuff to watch here as Brady Motes able to share with us some of the cool stuff that goes on behind the scenes with Josh Conover being his official spotter for the night. I mentioned that Brady Motes had to sit out this race, even though he's sitting in 3rd in that championship. He had to sit out tonight's race due to cause cautions, and just part of what you got to do to stay competitive, but at the same time, you got to keep it clean. And if you don't keep it clean enough, well, there are some penalties to pay. Cameron Thompson, your leader here after this first stage. Right now, 63 laps in the books. Working on now, just about to be lap number 64, is Ronnie Norman getting a challenge from Dustin Kleba for that 2nd position. You can see not far back, there's Jake Christenberry back up in this lead group battle for his Prestige TRD team. And of course, dragging all of his fan club here with him. Ronnie Norman, though, in that number 33 for Flatline Motorsports. Now charging to the front, gonna battle with Cameron Thompson of Harper Motorsports. Side by side they go into turn 1. Dustin Kleba behind Ronnie Norman. And it looks like Cameron Thompson gonna drift back. Now side by side for that second spot between Thompson and Kleba. As now you've got Ronnie Norman up there into the top. So great to have all you with us here live on VirtualRacing.Network. Proud presenting here of the NORA Cup Series 2023. It's our version of the Coke 600. A nice long event here tonight. See who can hang on for the longest. And it's been pretty much like a sprint race thus far. Now side by side at the front once again. Kleba going to take his look on the inside of Ronnie Norman. And there's Jake Christenberry back up into third after early trouble, catching him out, sending him backwards through the field. Cameron Thompson now going to challenge Christenberry. So side by side, row after row after row, 3 rows deep of side-by-side racing here at Charlotte. Racing on board with Ronnie Norman. This is how it looks off the front of his Chevy. But for only so long does he see that clear air. Pretty soon, you look side by side, and there is Dustin Kleba to try to claim that spot. Christenberry hanging on strong in third, with a strong challenge coming now from John Cottle. So Cottle's back in this mix. He's gone from being a lap down and having to get the wave around to being back in this battle. Meanwhile, looking a little bit further back, Vincent Arthur up into that 8th spot, so not able to quite climb as fast as Cottle is, but Arthur right back there. You see his Pepsi machine not far off the screen. Here's John Cottle and Cody Reeder battling it out for 3rd place. Christenberry, in the meantime, as you can see, now taking that position from Kleba. As they come through turn 1, it's Ronnie Norman in front, Kleba in second. I think Cody Height may have touched the wall on the outside there. Height running in 9th place. And it looks like Arthur has now slid back into 12th. So Arthur having a bit of an issue here, sliding backwards. Matt Tucker, though, take a look at him entering this picture now. It's side by side in front of him. 2 rows deep. Kleba and Christenberry fighting it out for position. Reeder and Cottle fighting it out for position. Now Matt Tucker taking a look underneath Cottle. Here comes Matthew George from Flatline Motorsports into the fray. This has been one wild ride here so far tonight at Charlotte. It has not disappointed, and this is several weeks in a row that we've been seeing some amazing action out here for the NORA Cup Series. So much that it's difficult to even call because there's so much racing happening throughout the pack. You can see Cody Height really running on the high side, and there Josh Conover sticking his nose in there to possibly make it 3 wide. Side by side for the lead, though, Dustin Kleba and Ronnie Norman. We got Riley Beadle checking in as well, adding to that fray, who is in this group. I mean, this is the, in our YouTube chat room, we have got the Jake Christenberry fan club that looks like the entire family has turned out, rooting on their driver, Josh Curry, rating on Jake and Mackie. Josh Curry, unfortunately, looks like he's out of this one, and so he's decided to sit it out, and he's going to watch on Jake and Anthony Mackie. Checking out Anthony Mackie a little bit further back here at his Prestige TRD, the number 54. He's trying to keep it clean out here, just survive until the end. But Mackey running back in 15th and up 5 spots so far. Meanwhile, back in the front, it's Kleba with Reeder and Norman just behind. John Cottle in that 4th spot. He's free and clear, but side by side between Norman and Reeder. Reeder on that inside line. Back on board with Reeder. Side by side they run. Through turns number 1 and 2 and onto the backstretch. Here comes Ronnie Norman, holding on strong to that 2nd spot. John Cottle just behind. You can see Matt Tucker, as I mentioned, up 12 positions in this number 43 for JRC. Just behind him, Jake Christenberry and Matthew George kind of scrapping over position, with Josh Conover in that mix as well. Ronnie Norman and Cody Reeder side by side. It's been some awesome action here, and these two are just not giving it up as Norman prevails and he's up into 2nd. Morgan Paviel, my dear, thank you so much for checking in. My best fan, I appreciate you. I love you, dear. Thanks for watching on. Here's Ronnie Norman, though, in that 2nd spot, falling back now into 3rd as Cody Reeder does manage to finally take that position. Or is it done and dusted? It's like every time we think it's done and dusted, something new happens or somebody comes back to challenge. Here's Cody Reeder to the front off of turn 4. Cody Reeder gonna lead this lap here as we're now on lap number 79 of 240. These drivers, the next stop for the stage will be lap 120, but they won't be able to make it that long without fueling up. So we'll watch on as a lot of these drivers came in on laps 43, 44, right in that area. So we're gonna see a number of these drivers heading down onto pit lane. Excuse me, I was looking at the wrong column. Lap 55 is when they were in. So we're going to see them coming in here in about, I believe, 10 laps or so. Kleba up in front, Cody Reeder in 2nd, Ronnie Norman in 3rd, Matt Tucker in 4th, Cottle in 5th. Fantastic run here so far for Matt Tucker and Ronnie Norman, both of them up 13 positions. But you know that they're looking at more. You know they're sizing up the competition up in front of them. And, I mean, once you made it this far, if you're Matt Tucker, why would you stop at 4th? Unless you're just waiting it out to see what happens here later on in this race. But on board with Tucker. He's now fighting this afternoon's sun as they come through turns 3 and 4. He's going to come off the corner just behind Ronnie Norman. And you've got to be really careful here if you're somebody like Matt Tucker. You've had such a successful race so far. Don't want to do anything like possibly make contact. Certainly don't want to mess up that beautiful race car. It's got it working so well right now. You look back here and just in front of Cameron Thompson, who's racing here in 12th place. Got Jake Christenberry. Christenberry's kind of fallen back here in this 2nd stage a little bit. Chad Engel now getting underneath him for Brian Powell Motorsports. That's for 10th position, so Engel able to just claim 1 position from where he started so far. But does look like Christenberry starting to suffer a little bit, falling back into the clutches of Cameron Thompson, who's now going to move to the inside on Christenberry. Meanwhile, back up in front, actually for this 5th position, Side by side now between Cottle and Conover. Conover in the red, white, and blue Hendrick Motorsports machine on that low side. Cottle on the high side in the number 6. Cottle up into the wall. Just a light scrape. 'Tis only a flesh wound, he says. John Cottle, unfortunately, now losing that position to Conover. And now, here comes Matthew George in the Flatline Motorsports Chevy. He'll take that position on the low side, and here comes Vincent Arthur. He almost slid up the track into John Cottle, but Arthur looking to come back here. As they race through the corner and onto the backstretch, it's Vincent Arthur who's going to try to take that position. He's hanging tight here with Matthew George, but both of them sizing up John Cottle for that 6th position. Side by side, Arthur and George, teammates for Flatline Motorsports, undoubtedly communicating on their Discord channel, working out a little bit of team strategy, how they're going to attack this Cottle machine. Of course, Cottle was up there in the lead not long ago. He looked like he might have had the car to beat here tonight, but here comes Arthur right on by, a little bit of a wiggle coming off the corner. And this time by, he'll be in that 6th position. Next up on track, the number 43 of Matt Tucker. As Arthur almost gets into the back of Tucker there. I think Arthur really having the tires to possibly be able to do some real damage here at the end of this stint. There goes Arthur right on by. I almost have to check and make sure. I'm not really sure. Somebody will have to fill me in on why there's a Nightmare Motorsports logo on the back of Vincent Arthur's machine. Somebody can possibly let me know what the cause of that is. Either way, Ronnie Norman heads down onto pit road, and that looked like it was in a hurry. I am not 100% sure that he got down into the pit safely. Let's see how this looked from on board Norman's machine as he was racing his teammate, Josh Conover. Tough to say. It did look a little speedy heading into the pits there for Norman, but he did not serve a penalty. Gladelich now onto pit lane, leaving a trail of brake smoke behind him. It's Tucker and Christenberry. Anthony Mackie all coming in for green flag stops. Running on lap number 91. Of course, we're going to lap 120 for this stage. So a lot of these drivers just going to be able to get in their stops here. Dustin Kleba, your leader, now making his stop. So leading John Cottle as well. So a number of these drivers getting in, but Cody Reeder electing to stay out there for a lap. So we'll see how this works out. In the meantime, you can go ahead and be able to get a little bit more information for you up here. Kind of move some stuff around. There you go. There's a track map for you. It makes it a little easier for you to follow along where your favorite car is, your favorite driver. Just have to look for their initials in that track map. As we're on lap number 93, Cody Reeder in the lead. Vincent Arthur, 2.6 seconds back. Matthew George, 4.74 seconds back. So these drivers have yet to pit. And here comes Matthew George into the pits. Like he was running very close to that wall. Not sure if that was quite intentional. take a look at that one as Matthew George headed into the pits. Did he possibly make contact with the wall here? And very, very close to that wall, but it does look like he managed to survive. Cody Reeder, though, still out there and putting in laps. Yet to come in. So what's happening here is you're seeing a number of different drivers able to do the undercut strategy as Cody Reeder stays out there. You know, a number of these drivers, Cody Height finally coming in out of 5th place. They're going to be looking at, as finally Cody Reeder makes it in, you see a big wiggle from the back of that machine. They're going to be looking at the lap times and studying the fall off. Last time by a 30.72 for Vincent Arthur. And we look at, for example, John Cottle with a 30.25. Cameron Thompson a 30.07. Matt Tucker a 30.13. So Chad Ingle a 31.37. He's running in 2nd place right now. So right now, these two top drivers on lap times alone are starting to really suffer and fall backwards. And we'll just see how this all works out when all of this circulates around after this exchange of pit stops. So green flag stops underway here, and you can hear a driver grenading their engine. Not entirely sure who that was. Possibly somebody sitting on pit road. Perhaps that's, I'm not sure, Josh Curry maybe, Todd Slauson, who appear to be stopped on pit road, Nick Geilis. Not 100% sure, but somebody grenading their engine. You could hear the sound effect for it. And with that, Vincent Arthur going to start to rejoin, but Dustin Kleba has a massive margin over a lot of these front runners, including Vincent Arthur. Arthur now well back, 6 seconds back of this group. Ronnie Norman 1.35 seconds back of Dustin Kleba, and Cody Reeder in 3rd, 3.60 seconds. Josh Conover in 4th back here. So, a lot of time gained on that round of pit stops, and Dustin Kleba coming out on top. Kleba now looking at the back end of Matthew Hibbs' machine. Hibbs about to go down a lap. So we're watching on here as your leader, Dustin Kleba, has a 2.5-second lead over this man, the number 33 car from Flatline Motorsports of Ronnie Norman. Norman has had a stellar race so far, just coming up onto the century mark in terms of laps, up 14 spots. Fantastic run from the Flatline Motorsports driver, leading that Flatline stable. And here comes Cody Reeder. He's another 2 seconds back, and that's just how quickly this is all kind of broken open here for KPR Motorsports. Of course, KPR Motorsports with Reeder, one of the main honchos over there at KPR. But Cody Reeder back 3.46 seconds from the lead at the moment, and just over 1.8 seconds back from Ronnie Norman. And then a little ways behind him, it's Josh Conover for Flatline Motorsports in that 4th spot. 11 positions gained for Conover, so a great run from him as well. John Cottle in that 5th position, having a fantastic run here for Harper Motorsports. He was further up, and he did start in 3rd, but still a top 5 is solid for this team and for this driver. And perhaps Cottle will be able to get another 1 or 2 positions before it's all worked out here tonight. Vincent Arthur recovering after an earlier incident, and now he was in the lead, but after that round of pit stops, finding himself 6.7 seconds back from the leader, Dustin Kleba. So it's got a long ways to go. Your points leader, only 20 years old, out of Manchester, Maryland, one of the phenoms on iRacing, and definitely somebody you want to remember his name, Vincent Arthur. We can definitely see him doing some very, very big stuff here, not only in the NORA Series, but going on well beyond in the near future. Matthew George, 7th place. He's up 11 positions. He was up in the top 5, but after that round of pit stops, drifted back a couple of positions. Cameron Thompson, same thing. He was right up there in that top 5 for quite a while. He is up 2 spots so far tonight, but running in 8th place. Matt Tucker here for JRC Sim Team, back in 9th place as well. He's up 8 positions, so having a good run. But he also, too, is up there towards the top 5. And Jake Christenberry, well, as mentioned, he's got several great fans over in the YouTube chat room. But Christenberry had an incident earlier, almost cost him a lot more, but he managed to gather that car back up. And since then, he's managed to get up towards the top 5, but right now finds himself back in 10th position. So he's got some work to do to get back up there towards the front. But back up in front, Dustin Kleba, no problems, able to hold down this lead. He took pole position in that number 16 Ford for KPR Motorsports, and he's having absolutely no issues here in Charlotte. Ronnie Norman chipping into this lead a little bit, though, just a couple hundredths faster than Dustin Kleba. Kleba a 30.30 last time by. Ronnie Norman a 30.28. But if you look a little bit further back, these other drivers actually able to go quite a bit faster. Previous lap, Cody Reeder a 30.03. So 0.3 faster, and this last lap over a 1/10 faster. So little by little, these drivers behind able to kind of claw in the fast runners of Kleba and Norman. So working on lap number 108, and quickly we'll be at that next stage mark where they'll throw the caution, gather this field back up, but right now it's all Dustin Kleba and KPR Motorsports. Everybody else pretty much having to play catch up. But I'll tell you what, Cody Reeder for KPR Motorsports doing a great job at that. Here he comes to challenge Ronnie Norman for second. Last time by Kleba, a 30.30. Norman, a 30.48. And Cody Reeder, a 30 flat. So Reeder is absolutely flying in that number 85 machine, and here he goes flying right on by Ronnie Norman. Well, maybe not right on by, but decisively heading down onto that low line and making a bid for that second position on track. Cody Reeder still a 30.12 that time by, and just 1.5 seconds up the field to Dustin Kleba, his teammate and the leader at the moment. So right now, I mean, I was talking with Christian Snyder about this last week, and certainly you can see in the order right now, I don't think I can display the team names. I don't think it's possible for me to show the team names up there. It is if I do it a little differently. See if we can make this work for the first time here. But there we go. We can see how the teams are running up here right now. And Flatline Motorsports holding on to 4 positions in the top 10. But it seemed like when I joined in here to broadcast with the NORA Cup Series, it was all Flatline Motorsports 1, 2, 3. Each race, it seemed like they were unstoppable. And then, slowly but surely, here comes the KPR Motorsports team. We saw Reeder challenge up there. We saw Jared Wishon join for the Bristol race. the Bristol Dirt Race and able to absolutely clean up for KPR Motorsports that race. And ever since then, this has kind of been the little team that could. And KPR Motorsports has emerged as one of, if not the top group here. I mean, certainly a long ways to go to prove this in the long run, but Flatline Motorsports has kind of been caught a little flat-footed, if you'll forgive the pun, as Kleba and Reeder have emerged as two competitors who look serious to challenge for this championship as we get very close to the end of this regular season. So here we are running on lap number 114. Just coming up to the 120 stage mark, as we'll be getting a caution on lap 120. But Dustin Kleba has led. I believe he got credit for winning the first stage. If what Brady said was true in our YouTube chat room, he did get credit for leading and winning that first stage. And I'm getting corrected over here from Tim Harper. Hey, no, I won the first race you broadcasted. Well, didn't mean to couch you out there, Tim. Certainly, you've been a top 5 runner like every single race that we've broadcasted, and honestly, the only thing that's really kept you out of the top 3 positions has been contact a couple of times out, and certainly tonight, I think this could have been a Tim Harper kind of night, honestly, if I'm being honest. But Harper not in it here tonight, and unfortunate, but would love to see him out there. I'm sure we'll get a chance to see him next week. But either way, Harper Motorsports, I mean, that's not to count them out. You know, John Cottle also rising up through the field. We saw Cameron Thompson up there towards the front. So it's, I guess the point to be made is that Flatline kind of, it looked like they were going to be somewhat dominant here with Vincent Arthur leading that train of cars. But with KPR Motorsports in the fray, with Harper Motorsports putting in great performances and actually winning the race, you know, it's basically turned into a 3-team battle, regardless of what the owner's points say. So looking up here in the front, though, hey, it's only one name that has mattered all night long, and that's Dustin Kleba for KPR Motorsports. He's working on the last of this stage, and he's just about to take stage number 2 here. It's been a clean sweep so far. Pole position, first stage, and possibly the second stage. Is Cody Reeder going to try to take this position heading into the end of this stage? I think he's going to run side by side with his teammate, but he's going to let Dustin Kleba take this second stage. So second stage will go to Dustin Kleba, Cody Reeder in second, Ronnie Norman in third, Vincent Arthur in fourth, and fifth place going to Josh Conover. As they cool down here on the back stretch, and certainly also Megan Beadle checking in, saying, we still got our fingers crossed over here, really hoping Jay can pull this off tonight. Hey, it's still a long race. We're just halfway through. Hope everybody's enjoying this one out there. Our version of the Coke 600 here for the NORA Cup Series. It's been 2 stages in a row for KPR Motorsports. Dustin Kleba. Will Ronnie Norman, Cody Reeder, Vincent Arthur, or Josh Conover have something to say about that here in the third stage? Stay tuned and find out. You're watching iRacing on VirtualRacing.Network. We'll be right back. Welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network as we get set for the second half of round number 17 for the NORA Cup Series 2023. We're here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. You're watching iRacing live on VirtualRacing.Network. Of course, presented by Abby's Sweet Treats Home Bakery. Tonight, it has been an absolutely sweet treat for all of us here as we've seen all kinds of great action, but it's been Dustin Kleba and KPR Motorsports, including Cody Reeder, who have been absolutely dominant. Will we see Vincent Arthur from that third spot, or perhaps his teammate Ronnie Norman from fourth spot, challenge for this lead? We're about to find out as we're just about to go green here momentarily, once again here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And back underway, it's Kleba who is in that lead. Cody Reeder in second place, Vincent Arthur in third, Josh Conover in fourth. Now you can see another driver down low on the backstretch, side by side for second and third, and now it looks like Conover really racing hard here for that position. Vincent Arthur now back up onto the back end of Dustin Kleba as well for the top spot. He's going to try to go to the high side. Meanwhile, just behind, we've got Conover and Reeder racing it out for that third spot, and now Arthur falling back just a little bit, as I do believe Anthony Mackie had to make an unplanned pit stop here just off of that green flag. So Anthony Mackie fans here in the field, not really sure what happened to him, but he has had to take evasive action perhaps and go down that pit lane. But either way, looking a little bit further back, this is Cody Reeder here, who's now up into that third spot after Vincent Arthur has now taken over second. Looking a little further back, here's Conover, who's trying to challenge Cottle now for fourth. And I think Kulikowski just getting into the wall back here. A little bit of an issue for that number 45 machine. Now starting to fall back into the field. There's the 21 machine of Zach Hollinger. Hollinger now a couple of laps down, so that's not for a position. Ronnie Norman coming back through the field, just getting around Matt Tucker. This is for the 7th position. Looking at these drivers heading down this backstretch here at this 1.5 mile oval. Starting to feel it out here in the back half of this race, and starting to plan their strategy for their final pit stops. We still have one more stage yet to go, so we will have another mandatory caution coming at lap 180, I believe. Yes, 180, before we get to our final lap count of 240. These drivers starting to formulate how exactly they're going to attack this here at the end of the night. And it looks like Cody Reeder having an issue. Now coming down onto pit road. Also Gladelich having an issue. Not sure. We're going to look here at a replay from Gladelich. This was just a moment ago. Gladelich and that number 7 machine getting it loose coming into the tri-oval, mowing some grass here, and safely back up onto the racetrack, but I think losing a position or two. Back to that live picture, and looks like we've got a race here for third place, as Conover has now managed to get by Cottle for third. And just up in front, it does look like Arthur and Kleba now racing it out, as Arthur did manage to get by as we were taking a look at that replay. Vincent Arthur has taken over the lead from Dustin Kleba. So the 20-year-old from Maryland now marches to the front. And, you know, this is really the time of the championship where some statements are being made. Kleba has emerged as a potential championship challenger to Vincent Arthur, who was leading this championship very successfully. And it looked like, you know, perhaps Ronnie Norman would be the second challenger to this championship. Perhaps Brian Powell, but Powell having to sit it out as he's had some other work commitments in real life. And so it coming down to just a few challengers at the top, but along has come Dustin Kleba, and right now Vincent Arthur really has to look at this and say, I've got to gather myself back up, and I'm going to have to take the fight directly to Kleba. And I think here comes Flatline teammate Josh Conover to try to share in this battle. Running in third here. Conover going to try to look to the outside of Kleba. Here he goes down that outside lane. Conover able to get into position, and now Kleba getting faced with a battle from Cottle. Cottle on the outside, Kleba on the inside. They're just in front, though. It looks like Conover getting up very close to the back end of Vincent Arthur, his teammate at Flatline. So just as I was saying, KPR Motorsports has done what they needed to do to emerge at the front of this race. Now we're seeing a display from Flatline Motorsports at the front with strong performances by two of the best racers here in this league for sure, Vincent Arthur and Josh Conover. Conover, of course, also the owner of the NORA Cup and Truck Series, but a dynamic racer who is competitive week in and week out. Certainly somebody you can never count out. Not a week goes by that we don't see Conover kind of challenging up there in the top 5, let alone for the win. Conover really holding on strong up here in second place right now, but about to get a challenge from John Cottle from Harper Motorsports. Riley Beadle saying, you got this, Jake. Well, little check-in with Jake Christenberry. He's running back here in 9th place. Not too far back. He's close enough he can see the front, 2.9 seconds ahead. Next up in line for Christenberry will be Chad Engel. If he can get up there and make that challenge. Otherwise, just behind Cameron Thompson for Harper Motorsports. Perhaps going to serve notice that he wants in on that 8th place or that 9th place position that Jake is holding on to at the moment. Up in front, though, no change recently. Vincent Arthur in the top spot. Conover in second. Cottle in third. Kleba in fourth. Matthew George now into that 5th spot. As I said before, you know, George was a lot closer to 5th through much of the opening part of this race than I'm used to kind of seeing him. But George officially up into 5th early on, so perhaps by the end of this one, we'll see him possibly challenging for a podium spot. But here comes Dustin Kleba, challenging for second place on Josh Conover, and he'll take that spot. So Kleba able to gather himself back up in that number 16 Ford. Now he's going to set his sights back on Vincent Arthur. On board with Kleba. Gonna hug that line down at the bottom through the corner, exit off, and try to figure out exactly what the best plan is to get around this number 24 Chevy that once it gets up there in the lead, he seems to be able to hold that lead just about as well as anybody. And just like that, Arthur kind of runs up the wall, but it seems to be working for him on exit, able to pull a little bit of a gap. Kleba down on that low line. Not really able to stay quite up behind Vincent Arthur. We watch on to see these two racing. Kleba now runs that 16 down to the low line once again. Arthur running the high line. Is he going to get the run off the corner and hold that speed on the outside line? He does, but Kleba able to hold with him. He's going to stay side by side through turns 3 and 4. Kleba and Arthur battling for the top position here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Across the line that time, it's going to be Arthur, but for how long, as Kleba still holds that car in there side by side. Through turns 1 and 2, staying side by side, the 24 and the 16, racing this one out. If you've been a fan of the NORA Series, this is the battle that you've been wanting to see. Side by side from these two young stars of the NORA Series, Kleba and Arthur. We may see the challenge of the championship come down to these two as they got very close coming off of turn 4. Kleba having to take his foot out of the throttle a little bit and gather that car back up. And I think that's really one of the dangers of these D-shaped ovals, is you do come off of turn 4 very close together, and sometimes the trajectory can really cause issues with how much room you have between the cars, potentially causing it coming together coming off of turn 4. So it's always touch and go. Obviously, these drivers, they're not out here to crash each other. They're out there to give as much space as they can, but this is just one of the complexities of racing on a D-shaped oval, and Charlotte kind of has that classic D-shaped oval effect as these two nose and tail for the lead here of this race, working now on lap 149 of 240. Some great stuff here at the front of this race, and just behind there's some great stuff going on as well. John Cottle, who's moved back into 3rd spot. Josh Conover just behind in 4th. Conover trying to hold on in that 4th spot and possibly see if he can get back by Cottle for that 3rd spot. Now he's going to take a look on the low line on Cottle. They race side by side, but here comes Ronnie Norman now. As Conover falls back a little bit, here comes his teammate Ronnie Norman into the mix once again. Now he's up into 5th, so flatline teammates of Conover, Norman and George running together on the track. Just somebody trying to figure out who has what it takes here. The end of this race to go up there and challenge Kleba and Arthur. Matthew Hibbs coming into the pits now, making a unplanned pit stop, I believe. Ronnie Norman now making his pit stop here on lap number 152 of 240. So seeing him down into pit lane, taking on service. Back up to this lead group of Arthur and Kleba, who just have not been able to break away from one another They stay side by side, or actually they stay nose to tail at the moment. So we can see Hollinger has made a pit stop. Cody Height has just entered the pits. Ronnie Norman leaving the pits as well. Now we look back here at Christenberry, who's racing side by side with Kulikowski. That is for 7th place on the track. So Kulikowski having a really good run here. The independent having a spectacular run in this race. He's been in the top 10 for most of the race, and now he's sitting in 6th place. So good, absolutely good run for him. We look over here as Conover taking on Service, teammate to Ronnie Norman. He'll get it underway again, but here comes the leader by Vincent Arthur, as we've been seeing a lot of green flag stops for the fact that we've had, I believe, 5 cautions now, perhaps 6 cautions. I'll have to look at that. But the fact that we've gone as many green flag laps as we have, we've actually been seeing quite a few green flag stops. So it playing a factor in the finishing order here tonight for sure. Now Dustin Kleba out of that top group, making his stop as well. Lap 158, Dustin Kleba taking his KPR Ford down this long pit lane at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Again, so great to have you with us here on VirtualRacing.Network. If you're over there in the chat room, you're watching on as Vincent Arthur and Dustin Kleba in the middle of a fantastic battle to win this one out. Arthur now onto pit road, and just behind you'll see Matthew George also for Flatline Motorsports into the pits. And that is going to allow John Cottle to take over the lead momentarily, as well as Chad Ingle sliding into 2nd place. While the rest of these drivers make their pits, including Kulikowski. Now here comes Cottle out of the lead. He'll bring it down onto pit lane. Chad Ingle going to get credit for leading this lap. Racing side by side there with Ronnie Norman, but that's not for position at the moment, as Norman has already made his pit stop and has gotten basically his lap back. And for example, Chad Ingle last time a 31.36. Cody Reeder, who's 15 seconds back after making his pit stop, a 30.85. Matt Tucker for the JRC Sim team, 30.09. And there's a 29.91 from Ronnie Norman. So, and a 29.88 that time from Ronnie Norman. So Norman, and I tried to ask permission this last week, but I don't know if it's okay. But I'm just going to call him Stormin' Norman if he's going to start putting down lap times like this, because he is storming to the front in a hurry, and that's the type of pace. So a 29.99 that time by, faster than just about everybody else out there. In fact, I think he might have had the fastest, besides his teammate Josh Conover. And I take that back now. Dustin Kleba with a 29.91 fresh out of the pits. Chad Ingle finally pitting that time by. And that will turn over the lead once again to Cody Reeder. So, pit lane time. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, I see. So Cody has not yet stopped. I was wondering how he managed to have a 10-second lead over Matt Tucker at the moment and 11 seconds over Vincent Arthur. But Cody Reeder was in on lap 121, Matt Tucker on lap 145, and Vincent Arthur in on lap 156. Ronnie Norman 151, etc. As now Cody Reeder will finally pull it in. I thought he had perhaps already pitted and had pulled some magic out of his hat, but no such luck. Cody Reeder needing to finally pit here out of the lead. And that will momentarily give the lead over to Matt Tucker, who's got about a 0.4 of a second lead over Vincent Arthur, but Arthur with substantially newer tires and doing a 29.87 lap time last time by. And in fact, what I'll do is I'll put up what their last lap times are up here for you to check out. You can see how fast everyone is. But here comes Vincent Arthur by on the high side. Matt Tucker got a chance to lead a lap and get some owner's points for that machine. Now Vincent Arthur back in the lead here at Charlotte. And we've got a yellow. I can't believe it, but I believe that's Cody Reeder, who had a problem coming out of the pits onto the backstretch. Let's watch this one carefully here as Cody Reeder leaves the pits. Right on board with Cody. Gets down close to that yellow line as he's exiting the pits. And he just gets on it a little bit too much, and around that thing goes. And he does make contact with another vehicle. We're going to have to go back and see who that was. It might have been Zach Hollinger. Or it could have been Dustin Kleba. Was that possibly Dustin Kleba, who he managed to collect? So we watch on here from the chopper cam, excuse me. He slides around. That's Cody Reeder sliding up the track. And that is the number 16 of Dustin Kleba who gets into him. And Cody Reeder takes out, unfortunately, our leader, Dustin Kleba, as he spins onto the backstretch. There you see the front nose falling off of Kleba's machine. As we take a look at the chase cam here a little bit closer, you can see the pieces falling off of that machine. The steering has been bent. Oh my goodness, what a change of events here as teammates take each other out unknowingly. Cody Reeder with a spin, wiping both he and Dustin Kleba for the KPR Motorsports team out of this race. And both of these drivers sidelined, now sitting in the pits trying to receive service. Let's take a look one more time. This was from Dustin Kleba's point of view, and this is not going to be a pretty picture here. Racing, and that is not the way that you want to see your teammate on the track. Oh my goodness me, what a change of events here at Charlotte Motor Speedway as we were just working towards the conclusion of stage number 3. And in fact, we have now reached the end of that stage. And unfortunately, Dustin Kleba having it coming together as Cody Reeder spun coming off of pit road. So this is going to open up the front of this race for a number of these drivers. We're going to take a quick break here on VirtualRacing.Network, and we're going to be right back. Stay tuned. This is some exciting stuff, and you won't want to go anywhere and miss anything. We'll be right back. welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. A big change of events as Cody Reeder for KPR Motorsports spins on the backstretch coming out of the pits. And unfortunately, the one driver to hit him is his teammate and the race leader, Dustin Kleba, taking both of those cars effectively out of this race win. So instead, we now have Vincent Arthur, who leads us back to the green flag here at Charlotte. And we've got a whole new race underway between Arthur, Norman, Matt Tucker, Josh Conover, and Jacob Gladelich. Arthur in the lead with Ronnie Norman holding on in second. Matt Tucker now part of this group in third. Here's Conover racing for that fourth spot. He's holding Cody Height and Jacob Gladelich at bay back there. You see Matthew Hibbs in this battle. He's not up there for position. So Cody Height on YouTube back in 7th place now. Actually, I take it back. Matthew Hibbs is part of this battle. And Height up into the wall. So racing hard here for position. 8th place for Height. Here comes Matthew George down low on him. Going to try to take that position, and in fact he does. And there's the 23 of Christenberry just behind as well. If you're looking over in our YouTube chat room, you'll see we posted the question, who will win tonight's race? Got 4 different answers possible: Christenberry, Arthur, Norman, or Matt Tucker. Vote now. We'll announce the vote later on, and we'll see who's the closest to being accurate. Vincent Arthur, though, a pretty safe bet. As you see Ronnie Norman just scraping the wall behind in 2nd place. Arthur holding strong out in front, but now Conover under attack by Matt Tucker. Matt Tucker says, Josh, I don't care if you're one of the guys that got me into the league. I'm still going to go up there, race you hard. And right now he's had to back out of it a little bit as here comes John Cottle down to the low side on Matt Tucker. And Matt Tucker's starting to fall backwards. There's the 7 of Jacob Gladelich up in the mix. Now racing underneath Matt Tucker, so perhaps he might be the outlier, the one that we didn't mention in the options. But Gladelich, he took the race win over in the Truck Series by being in the right place at the right time. And now we've got Thompson having a problem just a moment ago. He's brought it into the pits. And we still continue to race side by side here. It's Christenberry who's now marched ahead of Matthew George. And Christenberry now back up into 6th. So coming to the closing stages here. I take it back. I guess I was looking at the wrong column. So we are just going to be coming up to the end of stage number 3 for this race. Try to go over too many stats at once, to be honest with you, but lap 180 will mark the 3rd and final stage for tonight's race. I guess not the final stage if you count the race win, the final stage break for us. But here's Christenberry that we're looking at now. He's been up and down in this order, and right now running in 6th place. On board with Christenberry. Next car up the track would be Jacob Gladelich for the JRC Sim team. As they race in front of him between Josh Conover and John Cottle. Look a little bit, just a little ways back down the track, and that's Engel and Height battling here for that position. That is for 8th place. And 3 wide just behind here between Kulikowski and Tucker for a moment, with Tucker now falling back into this fray at the very back of the field. So Tucker was right up there in the top 5. Perhaps he scraped the wall and now dealing with a little bit of damage. So Tucker was part of this group that we felt might be able to take the victory here tonight, but looks like he's having trouble staying in the top 10 and starting to fall back now even from 11th and 10th place. So tough times for Tucker, but Vincent Arthur looks set to take stage number 3 for Flatline Motorsports. And just as I was saying before about the Flatline 1, 2, 3, well, now we've got it again. It's Flatline 1, 2, 3 with Vincent Arthur, Ronnie Norman, and Josh Conover, first, second, and third. John Cottle, the first car to break that up, with Harper Motorsports Ford in 4th place. And Jacob Gladelich, a strong 5th place run here so far for the JRC Sim team. We work on lap number 179. Arthur out to a solid 9/10 of a second lead. Conover in 3rd, 1.43 seconds back. Riley Beadle saying, "You got this, Jake." And Megan Beadle saying, "One position at a time, Jake. Let's go, bub." Well, he's right there to take advantage. He's just lost 1 spot to Matthew George, but Vincent Arthur able to take stage number 3. Ronnie Norman in 2nd place. Josh Conover in 3rd. John Cottle in 4th. And Jacob Gladelich. That is your top 5 as we get to the end of stage number 3. So with that, we're going to take one more chance to step aside, catch our breath, and get ready for the conclusion of round number 17 here at Charlotte, presented by Abby Sweet Treats. You won't want to miss it. It should be a very sweet finish. Stay tuned here on VirtualRacing.Network. Be right back. Welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. You're looking in live as we track the number 22 around, and he gets set to rejoin this race here with the final stage. And we're heading down the home stretch here, Cody Height. It's been a great race. You've been up and down in this order. Right now you're sitting in the top 10. How's it feeling for you out there, and what do you think your chances are at the end of this race?
Well, we were a lot better earlier in the race. The car has progressively gotten tighter for me. I don't know. It says I have no damage, but it feels like I have some damage. So we're a little bit too tight right now.
Little tight. Are you able to make any adjustments there on the pit stop, or are you just going to be able to maybe make some adjustments with your driving line, or anything you can do about it, or you just suffer along?
I think I'm going to have to be easier on the tires so we don't have to suffer along.
Well, you got still quite a few laps to get it done. Any chance you think we could see that number 22 possibly up there in the top 5 tonight?
I would love to come out here with the top 5. We definitely have a top 10 car for sure, and maybe if we can get a little luck, we can get a top 5 or something like that.
Well, right now, John Cottle, your teammate up there for Harper Motorsports, holding it down in the top 5, but we'll be looking for you to join him up there. Good luck with the rest of your night, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, Trevor. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, my pleasure. So that's Cody Height joining us here for just a moment, telling us about his night as he gets set to go. Always great when these drivers can join us after these yellow flags, and just have to be a little careful, make sure we don't pull them in at the wrong time, disturb what they're doing, or certainly some of these drivers, they can do this pretty much with their eyes closed, but at the same time we want to give everybody a fair chance. But Cody Height on YouTube, as he's known, make sure to pull up his channel following tonight's race and subscribe. And by the way, if you're watching along and you're not already subscribed, it's kind of weird, it's kind of weird, but make sure you smash that subscribe button. You want to catch all the NORA Cup and Truck Series action as well. We'll be having a big announcement coming this next week, so you can follow us over on Facebook as well. Another series that we'll be adding into the mix, and still more yet to come in terms of some things that we're working on here at VirtualRacing.Network. Exciting time for sim racing, for iRacing on VirtualRacing.Network. You'll want to be subscribed to us. Also, make sure to like this video if you can. Helps us with the algorithm, helps us to spread the message out there and get more viewers here for the NORA Cup Series. But this has been an awesome one so far. I hope you've been enjoying it out there. Let us know. Certainly, now Robert Christenberry saying, let's get that W, Jake. Well, so far in our poll, Jake Christenberry leading. I think most of the fans out there feeling like he has the biggest chance to take victory. Second place for Ronnie Norman, and third for Vincent Arthur. You can still vote. We'll keep that vote open for a little bit longer. But good luck there to Jake Christenberry. He's going to be restarting from the 9th spot. But it's going to be Vincent Arthur who will start from the lead for this final stage here tonight. We're green here once again at Charlotte Motor Speedway. They march down into turn number 1. It's Vincent Arthur with Ronnie Norman and Jacob Gladelich just in tow there. We've got a car into the wall. It's Chad Ingle. Chad Ingle into the wall. He manages to recover. Having a real issue there for a second. Managing to get that car back under control. And here comes Jake Christenberry back into 7th position. Side by side there. There comes Matt Tucker. So it looks like some fresh tires really helping these drivers out. As now Tucker dives down to the inside of Jake Christenberry. And here also comes Matthew Hibbs down to the inside of Christenberry. So these drivers really trying to push their way forward. Tucker gets loose coming off of turn 4. He gathers it back together. And so far, Chad Ingle still staying up there in that 7th spot. Kulikowski drifting up the track as well. Remember, these drivers just starting to really feel out these tires. Up here towards the front. Hey, he was thinking maybe he could get up into the top 5. How about 4th place, challenging Josh Conover? It's Cody Height. Now up into 5th, but right there trying to challenge for that 4th spot, side by side with Conover into turn number 1. Through turn number 2 and on to the backstretch. It's Cody Height drifting up in front of Conover. Conover does the crossover and goes down to the low lane on Cody Height. through the corner they go and out onto the front straight. It's Cody Height still holding that position as they go across the stripe. Just 51 laps remaining here for round number 17 at Charlotte. Matt Tucker just behind has now moved up into that 6th position. How much longer until we see Tucker up there challenging for the top 5? Chad Engel still holding on for Brian Powell Motorsports in that 7th place. He's gained 4 spots here tonight. He's having a fantastic run of it. Meanwhile, I see that Dustin Kleba has managed to come off of pit road, but he's had to jump right back to the pits. I believe that machine is officially done and dusted for the night. Back in 17th place. A really rough run for Dustin Kleba. Cody Reeder back here. He has managed to get back out there, and he is still on this lead lap, if you can believe it, despite the damage incurred earlier. He's now challenging for 7th place with Chad Engel. So his teammate, the unfortunate recipient of that damage earlier as Reeder spun coming off of pit road, but Reeder trying to make amends for the team and come out of this one with as solid of a finish as he can. You can see Jake Christenberry there in the 23, back in 9th place, now getting challenged from Matthew George for that position. So Christenberry having a little bit of difficulty here in this 4th stage of the race, but still very, very long ways to go. And unless we get an opportune time, yellow flag, we're going to be seeing a lot of green flag stops here coming up in about 20-some laps. Back out front, it's a flat line 1-2 so far. Vincent Arthur in front, Ronnie Norman in 2nd, and this is what we got used to seeing the first few races of this broadcasting that we've been doing for the NORA Cup Series. It's how it looked before, but right now, Jacob Gladelich for the JRC Sim team right up here into 3rd place. And this is a great run from Jacob Gladelich, up 6 spots, and that doesn't even begin to tell the tale. Gladelich has been looking for this type of stability, this type of competitiveness here in the NORA Cup Series, and he may have found something here tonight. Just checking in, I do see that Dustin Kleba has actually left pit road. So, you know, Kleba, he doesn't have to do anything to get into the playoffs, but he is just trying to earn points out there. He's going to try to bring this machine back out here onto the track and earn as many points as he can. Conover holding on in 4th place, racing for owner points out here. And Cody Height doing the same, racing for owner points. Having a solid run in 5th place. Height was right up there racing Conover side by side, but now he's fallen back a little bit. I do see that Matt Tucker is possibly starting to creep into this picture as well in that number 43 Chevy for JRC Sim Team. On board with Tucker, watching up in front as Conover now racing side by side in front of him. This is racing for 3rd position. It's Gladelich on the inside who holds on to that position, but Conover slotting in just behind. How long until Conover tries to make that move down to the inside? Well, couldn't even say it. That's how long it took. There goes Conover into 3rd. Gladelich drifts up the track. Tim Harper checking in saying Cody Height is running for the championship. Not sure why he's got an O beside his name. Appreciate you checking in, Tim. I don't know the answer to that one. It's beyond my pay scale. I'm not really sure exactly why. We can certainly we can fix that. I mean, if that's the truth, we have the ability to check that stuff out. It's just he checked in with officially it with the O. So I'm going to make that change. We can override it. Just like that. Boom. He's in the Drivers' Championship. That's the type of things that we do here at VirtualRacing.Network. You let us know what's going on out there on YouTube. We're able to follow up and make changes live right here before your viewing eyes. Watching on Cody Height in the Drivers' Championship. Challenging for Matt Tucker, who's racing for owner's points for JRC Sim Team. Running in 6th and 5th right now. Tucker did manage to snag that position. I've seen that Hollinger momentarily had a little bit of an off track perhaps, but he's managed to get it back going again in that 21 machine. Back out in front, Arthur smooth sailing. 0.4 of a second lead over his teammate, Ronnie Norman. And a little bit further back, there's Josh Conover. And really, you know, if you're flatline, this is how you do it when you close out a race. I mean, you've got essentially 2 tail gunners right now for Vincent Arthur. I mean, it's true. Perhaps it's just we watched this side-by-side battle actually happening between Cody Height, who's now challenging Matt Tucker for that position for 5th place. They race side-by-side off of turn 4, get very, very close. On board with Cody Height now. See Tucker on the left-hand side. Height up towards that wall, running that high side and getting the advantage off of that high line there. You know, I was just going to say, though, you got to make people go through the teammates to get up there to the leader, and really that's a strength display right there if I've seen one from Flatline Motorsports. But earlier this race, it was anything for Flatline to keep up with KPR Motorsports. But now Flatline able to establish themselves well at the front. Side by side here for all 3 of these drivers. Cody Height, Matt Tucker, and Cody Reeder. 2 Codys and a Matt. All kind of in side by side. We're now 3 wide coming through the corner. This is onto the back stretch. Somebody's got to give. And it's Cody Height who decides to give this time. Cody Reeder now up into 5th position. So will Reeder have something to say about this before it's all over? It's got 4 seconds to get up the track, and now we're seeing that Tucker has made it into the pits. So that is going to be 35 laps before the end, and that is going to get him into that fuel window. So Tucker, perhaps making a race-winning call, I don't know, but deciding to come in and take that undercut strategy, we will find out before too long. In the meantime, we do show that Cody Height also down onto pit lane. Matthew Hibbs onto pit lane. A number of these drivers choosing this undercut strategy, while Vincent Arthur, Ronnie Norman, and Josh Conover, Jacob Gladelich, and Cody Reeder continue. That's your top 5. Watching on now as Arthur sails across the start-finish line. Just 33 laps remain for the number 24 to try to take victory here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It would be a fantastic victory for him and would keep him certainly in the lead over his teammate Ronnie Norman, who has really been climbing up the points championship as of late. Look a little bit further back. This is Josh Conover and Jacob Gladelich, who are really fighting over this 3rd spot on the track. Gladelich not really backing off of this battle, holding on strong here in the 4th spot. And again, Gladelich having a really, really nice run here tonight. Anthony Mackie now deciding to make his final stop of the evening. His drivers racing to try to set up for the end of this race. Who's it going to be? Your top 5 tonight. Who will take victory? Well, our poll, we're going to close it out. The top vote goes to Jake Christenberry. They say that Christenberry, out of that 9th position, he's now pitting. They say he's going to take the race victory. Maybe so. Ronnie Norman getting 2nd place with 33% of the votes, and Vincent Arthur 17%. We appreciate everybody voting along with us, and we appreciate everybody watching along with us here on our YouTube. So great to have you with us, and again, next week we look forward to having Christian Snyder back with us here in the booth. Of course, next week we'll have the NORA Truck Series back in action. You won't want to miss it here on VirtualRacing.Network. And as well, we'll be having the NORA Cup Series as well, so won't want to miss that. Great racing from the NORA Truck and Cup Series. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. We've got a few subscribers coming in hot. We do appreciate all the new subscribers here tonight. One Shot Cap subscribing to us on YouTube. And as we mentioned earlier, Vauder Racing subscribing to us here on YouTube. And I'm just telling you, you know, we'll subscribe back to you guys here as well. So if it shows us that we can subscribe back to you, we will do that for sure. We love to watch all these racers out there and be able to see what you're up to on your YouTube channels. A lot of you doing lots of streaming yourselves and participating in different leagues and championships. And by the way, if you want to get involved with the NORA Cup or Truck Series, link is down in the description of this video. Go ahead and click on through and you can join on up. I know some exciting stuff actually coming up here for the NORA series, and they're making the announcement pretty soon, but working on their own Indianapolis race featuring the Dallara IR01 race car. So that is going to be quite exciting stuff, and I'll just say it unless they decide to change it, but we've been talking about it. I believe we're going to be broadcasting that right here on VirtualRacing.Network. Still kind of working on that, so don't quote me. It's not scheduled yet, but it seems to be going ahead, so should be a lot of fun. And since you're watching out there, figured I might as well tell you. Cody Reeder into the pits, Matthew George into the pits, Chad Engel into the pits. Vincent Arthur stays on track. Actually, Vincent Arthur just coming out of the pits, excuse me, after his pit stop. And Vincent Arthur gets it wrong coming out of the pits. Everyone takes evasive action. And the Flatline Motorsports driver, that's not the first time that he's had a problem tonight. Oh my goodness me. He does manage to get it stopped. But how much damage has been done? I can't see too much damage to the front of that machine. But he did go up there and clip the wall. Fortunately, that did not take anybody out. Oh, what a what a change once again as he drifted up the track. Let's take a look from on board, and I do believe that another car had another incident, and we'll check into that here just momentarily. Perhaps trying to take evasive action. So we'll watch on board here. This is on board as Arthur, under green flag conditions, exiting the pits, rides up just a little bit, and that is shades of Cody Reeder earlier. Oh. So lucky that others were not caught up in that mess. Let's see if we can tell who that was, though, who perhaps had an issue getting past Vincent Arthur. taking evasive action. I'm not sure exactly who it was. There goes, is that the number 6, I believe? John Cottle, but it doesn't look like he makes contact with anything. We've got Kleba and Thompson out of this race, so perhaps everything okay. I don't see anybody who actually made a hit, but I did hear that noise that it sounded like somebody hit the wall. And now Vincent Arthur, as we come back to this live picture, sitting on pit lane. And I'm not exactly sure why. That car shut off. That car has lost fire. Let's go back and what took place here? He pulled it down. And he comes to a stop, and we go back to the live picture, and he rejoins the field. So he's going to take an EOL here for bringing out that caution. He will take an EOL, and that will be his penalty. And now, after all of that, Cody Reeder for KPR Motorsports will take over the lead after doing that undercut strategy. Excuse me, did he take the undercut? No, he did the overcut strategy, coming in on lap 214. Matthew George in second place. Chad Engel in third place. Oh my goodness, what an amazing change of events here on VirtualRacing.Network. As the wheel turns, so to speak, it continues to get stranger and stranger, but in the meantime, we're setting up for a fabulous finish. Just over 20 laps remain. We'll be coming back to the green flag here on VirtualRacing.Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. Apologize for the sound level issue there. I hope we didn't blow out your speakers or anything, but exciting stuff here at the front of this field, as we've just had Vincent Arthur basically crashing out of the lead. He'll rejoin at the back and still be able to challenge, but it's Cody Reeder who's now going to have another shot at taking victory here in Charlotte, with Matthew George, Jacob Gladelich, Chad Engel, and Cody Height, your top 5. Who will it be at the end of this one? Will it be Kristen Berry? Will it be Cody Height? Will it be Vincent Arthur, who has to restart from the back? We're just about to get underway once again here. And we are green at Charlotte Motor Speedway. They head down into turn number 1. And it's Cody Reeder who owns the front of this field. Jacob Gladelich in second and Matthew George in third. But George getting challenged from Cody Height on the inside. They race side by side, and now side by side for the top position as well, as Gladilich challenges Cody Reeder and takes that position. Jacob Gladilich, now your new race leader here, as Vincent Arthur has now pulled it into the pits as well. So this will not be another race victory for Vincent Arthur here tonight. And we've got side-by-side challenge for second place and further back. A lot of problems further back as Cody Height and Cody Reeder now racing it out for second place. Ronnie Norman in fourth. Jake Christenberry in fifth place. And Cody Height has sailed into that second place on the track. We've got battles all over the place. Cody Height, this is the closest he's come to race victory. He's in podium position right now in second place. Jacob Gladilich having the run of his NORA career at the moment in the Cup Series. And looking a little bit further back, this is Ronnie Norman now trying to defend that fourth spot, as now Jake Christenberry up into fifth, Matt Tucker in sixth. There's Matthew George in seventh place. Still a lot of racing to go here as we are just under 20 laps to go. And side by side they race. Here comes Conover trying to get into this battle. Christenberry taking fifth place, and Tucker now trying to challenge for that spot as well. It's George racing side by side with his teammate Josh Conover. Christenberry gets passed by Tucker, so move Christenberry back to sixth, but Tucker up to fifth. Back up in front, Jacob Gladilich of the JRC Sim team in front. 18 laps remain. Cody Reeder in second place. Cody Height in third. Ronnie Norman holding down fourth, and just behind it's Matt Tucker. There's Jake Christenberry in sixth place, and things starting to settle down a little bit, except if you're at Flatline Motorsports. There they are trying to race side by side. Conover and George side by side at the moment, not giving each other much room at all. They head into turn 3 and 4, and it's Conover and George racing side by side. Now it looks like Engel managing to get by George as George slips back and has a problem through the corner. So Kulikowski now getting by. George falling backwards in a hurry. And there the 21 machine of Zach Hollinger sliding up the track. We've got, it looks like a car is around. That's the number 9 of Hibbs. On the backstretch, no yellow flag as of yet. And is that Mackey, or is that, no, not Vincent Arthur. I believe that could be Mackey. I'm not sure. Hollinger jumping to the pits, and that machine has seen better days. No yellow flags. We are still green here at Charlotte for round number 17 of the NORA Cup Series. You're watching it as we have just 15 laps remaining. Jacob Gladilich looks to try to do what he hasn't been able to do all season, and that is take victory here in the NORA Cup Series. He's done it once in the Truck Series. He could be in position tonight to take victory in the Cup Series. Right now, Cody Reeder hanging on to a slim second place after such a difficult earlier incident that saw him accidentally take out his teammate by spinning coming out of the pits. Dustin Kleba seeing the worst of that damage and falling out of the running order and not being able to challenge again for victory. Cody Reeder now sets his sights on Jacob Gladilich to possibly try to take this race victory away. Looking back here into the third spot, here comes Ronnie Norman past Cody Height. So Cody, his dreams of challenging for second and third starting to slip away here as Ronnie Norman manages to get by. Will Cody be able to challenge again, or will he very quickly receive another challenge from Matt Tucker? It does appear Tucker getting up towards the ability to be able to challenge for that fourth spot on the track. And now side-by-side battle for first place as Gladelich and Cody Reeder battle it out through turn 4, and it's Reeder on the outside, Gladelich on the inside. And that time by it's Reeder who takes the race lead. 11 laps remain, side by side they remain for first place. Gladelich and Reeder racing it out. KPR Motorsports and JRC Sim Team racing for victory. Jacob Gladelich holding strong, trying to keep Cody Reeder from taking this position. How long can he hold it out there in front? Gladelich giving it his all. On board with Jacob Gladelich in that number 7 Chevy for JRC Sim Team. Cody Reeder just on the outside of him. That's how much room separates them, not much at all. Could probably reach out to his window and touch that car if he wanted to, but he takes a little bit off that time through as he got a little too close for comfort. And Reeder now going to tuck back in for another run at it. He gets a big run coming off of turn 2. Will he hold it on the low line? Yes, he will. Will he be able to do it off of the low line? This is racing for the race win after 231 laps here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Side by side they race, Gladelich and Reeder through turns 1 and 2. This is allowing Ronnie Norman to start to close in on this battle. Cody Reeder takes over that lead, and that may do it. I don't know if Gladelich can get that run back and try to mount a challenge to Reeder once again, but he gave up a valiant effort to try to defend that position, racing side by side for several laps, trying to hold on to race victory, but unfortunately, he just doesn't seem to have a match for the overall speed of Cody Reeder for KPR Motorsports. Looking a little bit further back, here's Ronnie Norman. He's managed to get right up there, and, you know, once again, it's not how he would want to do it, but with Vincent Arthur suffering here tonight, Ronnie Norman is starting to climb this championship order, and he will definitely get some points over Vincent Arthur here tonight. Matt Tucker having also a fantastic run here for the JRC Sim Team. Up into 4th, 13 positions he has gained here tonight. Chad Engel having one of his best runs of the season. Running in 5th, up 6 spots for Brian Powell Motorsports in the top Brian Powell Motorsports driver. Matthew George, we talk about it every single race for Flatline Motorsports. If there's one driver that you can pretty much bank on to be up in the top 5 at the end, he just seems to gravitate and get there when it counts. But Matt George right now getting into 5th place if he can get by Chad Engel as they race side by side off of turn 4. Side by side for that 5th spot. And Chad Engel holding on strong, trying to keep that spot from disappearing, but it's maybe a little too late. Well, he does hold on. He is on that outside line. He's got the speed coming off the corner. But I think that's going to, just as I get ready to say that's going to do it, Chad Engel just manages to sneak back up there and keep the challenge going. So Engel, now he runs really high up the track. Matthew George, I think, is going to take that position finally. So George able to get up into that 5th spot. Engel back into 6th. He's going to try to maybe send it down. No, he won't. 3 to go for our race leader, Cody Reeder. Just 2 to go this time by. And we look a little bit further back. This is Jacob Gladelich. Can he hang on to 2nd, or will it be Ronnie Norman who will take second place here as we come to the white flag this time by. It's going to be Cody Reeder. Cody has had the craziest up and down race you could imagine. He's going to come across taking that white flag right there. And second place right now at the moment is Jacob Gladelich. Will he be able to hold on to second? Ronnie Norman looks to possibly take that second place from him. Looking a little bit further back, Jake Christenberry in 8th place, possibly trying to take that position. And Chad Engel possibly going to try to get that position taken from him by Kulikowski. But at the line, it's Cody Reeder who manages to take victory. Second place will go to Jacob Gladelich by the narrowest of margins over Ronnie Norman. And what an amazing race victory for Cody Reeder, who basically spins and wins. What an amazing race here on VirtualRacing.Network. We saw so many changes here in this race order. And we're going to take a quick break here, recover, and put up the final results. We'll be back with your final results and a chance to chat with our top 3 here in just a moment. Stay tuned, everyone. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network, ladies and gentlemen. What an awesome race. So great you could be here to join us for the length of this race. It was a sweet one indeed. And speaking of that, tonight's race and all of the NORA Truck and Cup Series brought to you by Abby Sweet Treats Home Bakery. Fantastic cookies there. There's Abby. She's a racing fan and, of course, part of the NORA family. But there, she makes the cake pops just like you can get at that famous coffee place that we won't mention. But get them from somebody in the racing family of the NORA series, Abby Dreyer. She's right over there in Minnesota. She makes the cookies, she makes the cake pops, and she makes the Oreo pies. She makes all kinds of cool stuff. You can order it online. Send her an email, abcobb@gmail.com. Give her a call, 812-264-1624. And visit over on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter. That's Abby's Sweet Treats Home Bakery. And tell them the VirtualRacing.Network sent you. And they'll treat you right over there at Abby's Sweet Treats. So that was a sweet one here on VirtualRacing.Network. We hope you thought so as well. Emily Christenberry checking in. Awesome race. Another top 10 finish for Christenberry. And you got it right. It's all about getting those top 10s, top 5s where you can get them. Christenberry was right up there to challenge there tonight and taking another top 10 here in the NORA Cup Series. Very difficult to do. Great run from him tonight. Get a lot of screen time for sure. We appreciate all that support out there. Shoot, if we could just get all that support for every one of these drivers, it'd be something else. But Cody Reeder, fantastic victory here tonight for KPR Motorsports. The spin and win, so to speak. He came out of the pits and spun and unfortunately collected Dustin Kleba, his teammate, but he made right on it by going out there and getting the victory overall. We'll have a chance to chat with him here in just a moment. Second place going to Jacob Gladelich. A fantastic run from Jacob. He was out there in the lead for quite a bit of it. Had a big challenge from Ronnie Norman there at the end, but he managed to hold tough and keep the Flatline Motorsports driver Ronnie Norman, who's second place in the championship, from getting that second place from him. Matt Tucker in fourth place here tonight. Another great run from the JRC Sim Team driver Matthew George. There in fifth place. Adam Kulikowski in sixth. Chad Engel taking seventh. Eighth going to Jake Christenberry as a round of applause is heard from the crowd. Let's see if I can get this going. It's not wanting to work for me, unfortunately. It was working earlier. I had some sound effects going, but I guess for whatever reason can't quite get it to work. But the rounding rouse of applause coming from everybody over in the YouTube chat room for Kristen Berry taking that 8th place. 9th place going to Cody Height on YouTube. 10th to Josh Conover. 11th to Vincent Arthur. 12th to Anthony Mackey. 13th to Matthew Hibbs. 14th, Zach Hollinger. 15th to Dustin Kleba. Unfortunate circumstances. We might have seen him in Victory Circle if not for those unfortunate circumstances. 16th to John Cottle, also up there in the top group. Not sure what took him out of the race. Cameron Thompson, also a great run from him tonight, unfortunately to end up out of the race in 17th, and Nick Geilis as well. Behind them, Todd Slauson, Josh Curry, Christopher Thomas, and Brandon Dunford, and a couple of other drivers like Brian Powell and Tim Harper not out there tonight, as well as Brady Motes. And we look forward to seeing all of those drivers back in the show a little bit later on, if not, hopefully next race. That would be awesome. But either way, we get a chance to chat with a couple of our top finishers. So let's go ahead and chat with the guy who came in third here tonight. Almost got second. Hey, Ronnie, this was another fantastic run from yourself. It wasn't quite a top finish. You weren't at the top of the podium, but still, this is another solid top three. Congratulations on your third place finish here tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Trevor. Had a good night. I got a lot of stage points. I feel was up top three, I think, every stage. So definitely enjoyed getting some of those points. Had a great car. Definitely got better as the race went on for sure. I had a little bit of a slip up there on that left restart and caused a checkup. I kind of got into my teammate, Matthew George. I wanted to apologize to him on that. I think he rounded out for a 5th, so happy he was able to stay up there. But I checked everybody up. I went low to pass because I was just trying to get around everybody, and it got extremely tight and just pushed up the track, and that's what gave Jacob and Cody Reeder the chance to kind of get away, and then I had to chase them down. So I don't know if I wouldn't be able to get around them because I know it's harder to pass than it is to catch, but I feel like I didn't really set myself up for good things to happen with that. So I did what I could, ran down Jacob. Definitely needed some more laps to pass him though. So overall, good race, long race for sure. But congrats to Reeder on the win and Jacob getting that second place finish there.
And it was an up and down race tonight. At first, we saw Kleba absolutely dominating the first part of this race, and then of course we saw some unfortunate circumstance with Cody Reeder spinning coming out of the pits and taking his teammate Dustin Kleba out in the process, totally obviously inadvertently, and then Reeder coming back and taking the victory. But it looked like it was almost flatline 1, 2, 3 there for a while. It looked like good old days with Vincent Arthur and yourself, and then Josh Conover, even Matthew George up there in the top group. But once Arthur had that problem, we saw a strange yellow come out and everything kind of got shuffled. So what, from your standpoint, what was the difference maker there? What were you able to do before that caution came out that you weren't able to do there at the end?
I don't really know. I feel like it would have been interesting to see the rest of that race run out if we would have went green, just to see where we would have shuffled out to and all that. But no, it was unfortunate that Vincent got loose. two of the best guys in here did it coming off pit road. So it's not easy. I mean, a lot of us make it look easy, but it's not. And you know, it's just an unfortunate thing. But you know, it's just one of them. You know, seeing them two heavy hitters get knocked out of the race, it's just it really with these long races, it just shows you like to never give up, because you never have any idea what's going to happen in these races. So yeah, no, like I said, just fortunate to be able to get another podium here tonight and try to gain some points back on Vincent before we head to another track and I lose them all again.
Well, as you said, you did manage to climb some more points here. Not sure where that's going to put you in relation to Vincent going into our next race, but still, it's got to feel pretty good. You've had some great runs. You continue to have podium positions. I mean, even Josh can't be as consistent of a top finisher as you've been. I mean, it is looking good as we get to the end of this regular season and start looking at the playoffs. You got to be feeling pretty good in that number 33 machine for your chances at a championship here.
Yeah, no, we've been rattling off some good finishes here lately and almost winning the All-Star race last week. I mean, I know the week before at Darlington wasn't really an earned win, but it was still, you know, I was there, happy to take it. but no, I mean, being up front, you just gotta get all your pit stops right, and you just gotta be careful and know when to push and know when to save. And I mean, honestly, I have no idea if I would have had anything for the win, but with the way that ended up there, my tires, I think Reeder and Jacob pitted a couple laps before I did, before that caution came out. So I think I was a couple laps fresher, but I don't really think it really added up to much difference. So, but yeah, no, it was a fun race, and just happy we can get another top three. And I think next week we go to Gateway, so that'll be another interesting track. A lot of shifts in there, so we'll see what happens.
A very different track there, certainly different than most of the typical ovals that we see. So definitely will be interesting to see who comes out on top there. Who'd you like to thank for tonight's run to third?
Yeah, I just want to give a thanks to Abby Sweet Treats for sponsoring the NORA League here. I want to thank FanDuel Sportsbook, McAllister Reynolds of Columbus, Indiana, NOS Energy Drink. I want to appreciate you and VirtualRacing.Network for putting on these races. Hope get a shout out to Christian. Hope he gets to feeling better pretty soon. I know he wasn't able to be here tonight, so just happy to be in this league. Everything's, I mean, I don't even know what race we're on. We've been racing so much, so just looking to keep our head down and keep focused and just keep rattling off some wins. So yeah, just appreciate everybody that puts this league on, and we'll move on to next week and see what we can do. Absolutely.
Just pretty much coming up to halfway through this season overall. The total number of races, 17 of 36 officially, as it is over on Sim Race Hub. So, hey, great run here tonight. Still a long ways to go for this championship, but think you're definitely one of the favorites up there, Ronnie, and you're racing great every single week. We'll see you next week at Charlotte and then at Gateway.
All right, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So that is Ronnie Norman, Flatline Motorsports, taking third place. And Jacob Gladelich does not do interviews, so we're not going to get a chance to chat with him. But we will get a chance to chat with, of course, our race winner. And absolutely, I mean, what an amazing run by Cody Reeder. It was like, you know, Cody was up there running with his teammate, Dustin Kleba, through the first couple of stages, and I thought this could be a KPR Motorsports 1-2 here tonight. But as Cody Reeder joins us here in the Abby Sweet Treats Victory Circle discussion, Cody, everything kind of changed when you came out of the pits. And talk us through what happened as you were leaving the pits. Was there something in particular wrong with the car? And at what point did you know who it was that you hit coming out of the pits? Congratulations, though, on your victory. Well earned.
Yeah. This will probably be like my least favorite interview ever. But
it's a little awkward, not gonna lie.
Yeah, but I came off of. I wanted to stretch that because I said to myself, one of these idiots is going to wreck coming off pit road. So I had to pit under green because I was in front of Dustin on the start. So it kind of put me behind the 8 ball. So I was trying to get lucky there with the caution. And then once it cycled, I needed to pit so I could stay in front of the lead lap cars. So at the stage break, I wasn't going to go a lap down. So yeah, I came off pit road, and it's really like, I've never been at a track where it's so difficult to come off pit road on new tires as this place. I had a situation the other night when I was running the 400 where I ended up in the grass but saved it, but these cars are so tough to save like once they get out of line. But regardless, that's a mistake I can't make there. Not because of my teammate, but just yeah, I mean, it was just, yeah. I was going to have the best tires. I was probably going to blow by those guys in 10 laps or so, be in a good position for the end. But the car started getting loose, so I was turning the wheel right. And by that time, I got it caught. The car landed kind of out of the corner. And when it did that, it just shot just straight up the track. And I started yelling, wrecking on the mic. And I heard Dustin go, he said something like, ooh, or something along those lines. And I was just praying he was going to pass me at that point. Should have been screaming low. I don't know that he would have been able to do anything. I haven't seen the replay. But, yeah, it's just a really bad mistake, rookie mistake on my part. I went through like a time in my iRacing career where I made little mistakes like that, and it always hurt me or somebody else, and I just gotta stop doing that. But the goal in these races is to help Dustin win, not be in that situation. But we were dominant, I think, early, finished first and second in the first 2 stages, and I think we were going to have a close battle at the end. But yeah, it sucks. I hate apologizing for winning, but yeah, it definitely feels bad for sure.
Well, at the same time, it's, if it makes you feel any better, of course, we saw Vincent Arthur himself make another mistake, this time also spinning, coming off of, he kind of rode up the track a little bit and onto out of the apron and up onto the track just a tiny bit. It got him wiggling, and the next thing you know, he was pulling a Cody Reeder and up into the wall. Fortunately, he didn't make a mistake and hit the wall or have somebody else hit him. But in your case, of course, now you had to recover after all of that. If it's me, I might want to go and just park it and go crying in shame. But you managed to keep your head down. And it's one of those tough things. I mean, you make a mistake, you've still got to keep it together, and you got to go out there and race for those owner's points. At what point did you start to think, okay, I may still have something here? Like this, I can still come back from this, and not only that, but like, I mean, I may have a race-winning car.
Yeah, so I was obviously trapped a lap down. I honestly was thinking about just pulling the pits and disconnecting, but I mean, the whole point of me racing these is to help Dustin in the point situation, and I mean, to be completely honest, trying to steal stage points and such away from other guys. And so I think Dustin won the first 2 stages. My car had like a minute and a half damage from that. I mean, it was a pretty hard hit. So I went a lap down trying to get that fixed. At that point, I was just racing one car until the stage break to try and get back on the lead lap. When that happened, right before the stage came out, or the stage break, I felt I was competitive enough to be at least 5th. Got the wave around, or the free pass, went back green, and we were on all even tires. At this point, I was just running like I normally was when I would not be right behind a car. I would click off a lap or like 2 or 3 laps and gain 2 or 3 tenths on Vincent, which at this point he was probably 4 or so seconds ahead of me. But this, I was just trying to go as hard as I can to make as much time, because I can't make a mistake like that cost us the win. I mean, the best case scenario is for me to steal a win from one of these other guys so they don't get the playoff points. So I mean, it worked out in that regard, but obviously I'd rather Dustin be talking to you right now. But it was about the time where I was clicking off laps and chipping away 1 to 2 tenths a lap, and then I really just got lucky there at the very end. I think I probably could have got within 2 seconds or so, but there's no way I was catching those guys if we stayed green. And caution just happened to come out when I was on pit road, and I had a pretty decent pit stop or pit box, and so when I pulled off pit road, I cycled to the lead, and I didn't know at this time, but I guess I don't know if Josh and Vincent got in a wreck or what was going on, but I noticed they were in the back of the field. So no offense to other guys around me, but those are guys that I was passing for 5th or 6th, and so I felt pretty good. If I could just get the tires underneath me after the restart, that I was gonna have a really good shot.
Well, and obviously you were able to get up there and not only challenge Gladelich, who was hanging on for dear life trying to get his first Cup Series victory here, but you put it right back out there in front and started to walk away with it a little bit. But as you said, it could have happened almost to anybody. Like Kleba could have hit anybody coming off a pit road spinning and had the same sort of thing happen, and yet you both were up there in the first 2 stages, and the fact that Kleba was able to take those first couple of stage wins means that he still walks out of here with a lot of points for tonight. And that's kind of a cool strategy that I've been seeing playing out here in the NORA Cup Series, and I know it plays out in real life as well. To get out there, do what you can early in the race, because who knows what's going to happen as you get to the end. Either way, Cody, it was a fabulous run here tonight. You had to face a lot of adversity, and certainly you're going to do your best to not have that happen in the future and get back to the old KPR Motorsports dominating ways, I'm sure. Who do you want to thank for tonight's race victory? And I think one of those is going to be Dustin Kleba.
Yeah, I guess I gotta say thanks for not hitting me right in the door, maybe. Sorry about all that. I'm sure we'll talk this week. He'll probably get me like a swirly or something when we see each other this weekend at Gateway. But yeah, so yeah, shout out to Dust. I mean, obviously he was a class of the field. I do think the second best car probably won tonight, but I hate that it happened that way. It's 2 weeks now that I win because Dustin is sitting on pit road, so it's just kind of a bummer that way. But at the end of the day, I mean, at least the KPR driver won, and thank you guys for broadcasting. I know you were kind of flying solo tonight, so it's it's thanks for still putting it on and giving us a kind of a platform for our friends and other people to see. So yeah, thanks you guys. Thanks Josh, put on the league. Sorry again, my teammate for the friendly fire there, but good to have a win. I will guess see you guys soon.
Absolutely. We'll see you again next week at Gateway. Great run here, Cody. Regardless of whether or not it worked out exactly as intended, you're showing well here. You're able to stay at the front, and certainly putting KPR Motorsports out there in front and serving notice to Flatline and everyone else that there is a team to be reckoned with. Congratulations on another win. We'll see you next week, my friend.
Thanks, see you.
So that's Cody Reeder takes victory here, and it was a wild one to say the least. This one lived up to its billing. The longest race of the season for the NORA Cup Series, and what a lot of fun it was. Of course, we want to say thanks so much to all of you over in YouTube chat land. Robert Christenberry checking in, Tim Harper, Megan Beadle, Riley Beadle, Morgan Paviel, Josh Curry, Brady Motes, Vada Racing, Emily Christenberry. We love all of you. Thank you so much for coming out and checking out our race here tonight. And hopefully we'll continue to get some more great races. Next week, of course, we'll have the NORA trucks back in action, as well as NORA Cup Series. So you want to make sure you're subscribed here on VirtualRacing.Network if you're not already. Make sure to like this video. On behalf of everybody here in the NORA Cup Series, I'm Trevor Greenfield, signing off. It's been a wonderful night of racing, and we'll see you again next week right here on VirtualRacing.Network. So long, everybody.